Excuse me. Could you come down for a second? We're commentating up here now. Sorry, it just disrupts the camera. Sorry. Hello race fans and welcome to RC Racing TV's coverage of the Reedy 1/12 Race of Champions here in Centre MK. Our coverage is Reedy powered. It's also presented by Protoform, Zen Racing and the British Radio Car Association. My name's Adam Johnson and I'm helping to bring you, along with the rest of the RC Racing TV team, coverage of this very unique event in a very unique venue with a very unique atmosphere overall. This is like nothing else you're probably ever going to see in RC racing in terms of format, in terms of prestige, and in terms of location. We're in the middle of a shopping centre. Indeed, the commentary that you're going to hear on the stream is also going to be going out soon over the public address to the fans that you can see here gathering around. I say fans, these are members of the public. These are people here having a shop and having a look at what is going on out on the racetrack. So today is no better time than any to convert some new fans over. You can even see some guys up in John Lewis having a nice watch of what's going on out of curiosity as they have some late lunch. As the sun has set outside, doesn't matter in here, it feels like nothing else I've ever commentated on, and with so many general members of the public here, the pressure to impress is on even more, as if it wasn't enough already. You see, the Reedy Race of Champions format is exactly what it says on the tin. Set up to honour the late Mike Reedy. This entire tournament is an invitation of the best and an open invitation for those to step forward and make their name, and for those who already have to cement their status at the very top of the RC racing food chain. You've got guys like Alexander Hagberg who have won 3 titles in the last few years. Marcus Mobers, guys going back, great British stars like David Spashett, who, I've got to be honest here, I've got notes here for each driver I want to speak about. For Spashett, I've got an entire page dedicated to his resume, what he has won. Basically, I'd have saved some time by writing what he hasn't won. And really, I think that is about his local raffle, and I think that's about it. So that's the caliber of opposition we've got in the top level invitational class. That is your LMP1 class. The way this tournament will work is you've got the top LMP1 drivers, of which there are about 20 or so of them. And then we've got 2 other classes. Those are LMP2 and LMP3. Now those guys are all guys who have turned up to qualify in and will be split into their categories after qualifying, which is what we're about to bring you right now. Remember, from 9 AM tomorrow morning, we're going to be live bringing you the race action as it starts. 10 rounds of racing is what we'll go through to decide our Reedy 1/12 Race of Champions champion. And of those 10 rounds, it'll be very much a speedway style format. You'll get points in each race. The least amount of points is what you want, because first place will score you 1 point, second 2 points, etc., etc. And you'll have the opportunity to drop your 3 worst scores. So it'll be 7 out of 10, your best 7, which is what's going to decide the winner. Each race is going to be 6 minutes. It's going to be fast, it's going to be furious, it's going to be intense. Tomorrow's going to be a very long day, 6 rounds of action, concluding 4 rounds on the Sunday, and by 5:30 on Sunday afternoon, we will know our Reedy 1/12 champion 2016, I should say. The first event back for us on the RC Racing TV team, and I just say the first race of the season for many of the drivers up on the driver stand right now, which are just getting their eye in right now in the final rounds of practice. We are here bringing you the coverage to start. We will enter into qualifying very, very soon. They'll have had 2 rounds of practice so far, free practice, untimed, with the emphasis very much on not impeding, on clean driving. But from the next session onwards, it cranks up, because it will decide the seedings, it will decide where these drivers go out tomorrow morning. Of course, from the first round onwards, results will dictate, and the order of each lineup will be reshuffled. But for now, emphasis will be on getting that crucial top seeding. What you don't want to do is be stuck down out of your league, if you will, or below where you're at and held up around drivers not of your standing. Now, let's talk a little bit about the track, shall we, just before qualifying gets underway. The track itself, as you can see, in this very unique indoor venue, it's a great layout, and it's a very twisty layout. It's your typical kind of technical layout. If there's room on the floor space for corners, there are such a thing. It's a very smooth carpet surface, no pile at all. And their tyres, the additive treated tyres of these 1/12 scale Le Mans prototype cars, will be looking for grip wherever they can. On such a technical circuit, it's very hard to. As you can see, there's your hairpin complex near the end of the lap. There's the final hairpin leading onto the front straight at the top of your shot there. Very much a Long Beach style. If anyone knows the Long Beach Grand Prix circuit in America, a very Long Beach style final hairpin there. You go down towards turn 1 there. We just had a car warming up, having instant turns 1, 2. Very Formula 1 start of a lap there with a technical hairpin complex there. 3, 4, 5. You can see cars coming through now. And actually, those cars out there, the track is not technically open at the moment. So that car that we've been watching there has just been ordered to stop rather crossly by the race director. But did help us demonstrate the track to you. Plenty of these technical hairpin sections there. Look at right there in your centre of your shot there. There's a little hairpin there with a second hairpin, if you will, on the left there. There's your pit entry and exit there. Now, obviously, these guys won't have to pit during a race because they're only 6 minutes in length. These are electric 1/12 scale cars, so obviously their battery life will be just fine for those 6-minute heats. But those will be, over to your left here is your penalty box, and that will also be your staging area for the start of each races. The pit down you just saw there will be a staging area. They'll head out and then head out onto the grid at the top of your shot. But obviously for qualifying, they're going to be cut loose. And that white line there, just to your right of shot coming into centre now, that's going to be where they're going to be cut loose for each of their qualifying sessions. See cars lining up now. And this is the final heat of round 2 of practice. This is open practice, remember. But these are your top guys. This is some of your top guns. Not demonstrating it, as we see on the screen there. They can't even... Great race drivers they may be, great parallel parkers of RC cars, maybe not. But hey, that's not what they're paid the big bucks to do. They're paid the big bucks to win the big tournaments. And a lot of these guys, as I said, have done exactly that, including the number 1 car, which we shall be watching in this session, Marcus Mobers, who is a previous EFRA 1/12 electric spec European champion 2 times over, back-to-back, as well as an electric Pro 10 European champion. You've got Scott Booth, the Brit, Kevin Herbert, Mick Farrell, Andy Murray, not that one, Toto Abukuro, and Chris Kurzweil, also a European champion in 2010 in the 1/12 electric spec championship, which we cover here on RC Racing TV. So the calibre of the opposition is not to be doubted at all.
A step and go penalty may involve a time element, so listen carefully.
So hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2016 Reedy 1/12 Race of Champions. So getting underway for the final round of practice, for untimed practice. Once this is done, we're going to be heading out into the serious business where the event really gets underway, which is going to be timed qualifying, rounds 3 and 4. Now, this is a very unique event in a very unique venue, and I can see crowds lining the fences on the back there. People have been wandering around the shopping centre, having a look at this and thinking, this looks pretty serious for radio-controlled car racing. Well, let me tell you something, it is. This is an all-star race of champions, an invitational event for the cream of the electric 1/12 scale crop. These cars have very powerful brushless electric motors, tyres treated with additive to get the maximum grip out of this carpet surface. And on this technical track, as you can see, with a total of 17 turns, they're going to need every advantage they can get. They, in question, are some of the finest drivers of their discipline, some of the finest RC drivers in Europe and indeed the world, as well as open class runners who have joined in today looking to prove themselves at the very top of the RC racing food chain. My name's Adam Johnson. Obviously, I'll be commentating here as well. This commentary is also going out over the live feed to our online viewers on RC Racing TV. The coverage there presented by Reedy, Protoform, Zen Racing, and the British Radio Car Association are the guys in charge of putting on.
Anybody that's side of the body shells, make sure that you have one on each side, please.
So I'm just letting the race director have a talk there. Didn't want to get over it and interrupt very important messages there. So the British Radio Car Association in charge of hosting this event. What a mighty fine job they've done, and what a mighty fine track they have constructed right in the middle of
Centre,
Centre MK
please.
here, in this very unique venue. Never before, or nowhere else, is the general public and the outside world so close to the world of RC racing. It is almost like having a full-scale race.
Caution in the middle.
As we have some track repairs going on in the middle of the circuit. As you can see, those barriers do take some abuse. Competitors looking for every advantage. And this is the final round of untimed open practice. And look at how much damage they're doing to the barriers. Imagine what they're going to do in the next round when qualifying itself kicks off for the rest of the weekend. That's when it really gets serious. That's when it's going to really kick off. So be it if you're trackside spectating right now, or if you're watching online, oh my goodness me. And if you are trackside, you nearly got a bit too close to the action there. Number 4, Mick Farrell, having a bit of a spectacular off. As I say, these are the limits that are being pushed already in untimed open practice. Never mind once the next round gets underway, which will be timed qualifying, which will decide the seeding for tomorrow's starting main event. Now, the format for this Reedy 1/12 Race of Champions is fairly simple, but it's a very good one at that, and it's one that will test consistency, speed, pace, and the ability to handle the very toughest pressure that any motorsport, let alone RC racing, can give you. The format from tomorrow at 9 AM onwards will be 10 rounds, Saturday through Sunday, of 6-minute heats racing. The points will be 1 point per position. First place will get a point, second will get 2, third place 3, etc. The goal after 10 rounds is to have 7 of your best rounds. You're allowed 3 drop scores, and the lowest amount of points will crown our 2016 Reedy 1/12 Race of Champions champion, the King of Kings, if you will. And for now, qualifying will be used in a little bit to decide the seedings for each heat. They will obviously start getting mixed up as the rounds go on from tomorrow onwards. So you'll never see guys in the same heat again after we're concluded with today's action on a Friday evening. It's a little bit of a chilly Friday evening, but hey, we're inside the Centre MK shopping centre. It's rather mild in here. So it's a very pleasant atmosphere. It's a very intense atmosphere in many other ways as well because of the crowd being so close here. You guys getting a great chance to see the action start close, and the guys competing having such a great chance to showcase this sport and their passion on such a stage to fans who may not often get the chance to see what RC racing is all about. If you hear about motorsport, you might see a bit of Formula 1 every so often, maybe some British Touring Car Championship racing. And if you see the odd bit of RC racing, maybe it was some viral video on YouTube. This is what RC racing is all about, and there is no better demonstration to give for the general public than the guys out here today, particularly the ones in this final practice heat. This is the very top level of seeding in the invitational class. And we have 3 classes out here this weekend. It's split into 3 sections. LMP1 is the segment that you're seeing right now on track for their practice session. The LMP1 guys are the cream of the RC racing crop. Those are your top guns. Those are your guys you really want to watch out for. The all-stars, if you will. They are invitational only, strictly by invitation. Those are the guys who are offered slots here. Your Harlem Globetrotters lineup, if you will. The rest of the classes will be split into LMP2 and LMP3. You have to apply to be in this class. You have to prove your worth. And you have to submit and pitch to let the organisers know that you're good enough to roll with some of the best European and world champions in RC racing overall. And if your application is successful, that is what you're doing here right now. So the qualifying and seeding for LMP2 and LMP3 will be undertaken based upon results from timed practice, which is what's coming up after the conclusion of this session you're seeing right on track. And as I say that, the session concludes out on track. So next up, you will see the start of that qualifying procedure. The top 30 across the LMP2 and 3 disciplines will go into LMP2 for the heats and races over the weekend. The remaining 40 or so go down into LMP3. The LMP1 guys, doesn't matter. They're there. They have earned that right. And we have a little bit of a pause here for some track repairs. quite a common thing in RC racing. Everyone looking for the most speed possible. And the biggest advantage, you're going to push the limits. And the odd thwack of the barriers. It's going to happen. And as I keep saying, this is just untimed practice. Next up, it's going to be timed. This is where things start to get very serious. Yeah, you think they've been taking it seriously already? You ain't seen nothing yet. So, there's commentary going out, obviously, across the center. You guys watching on the fences, and everyone here at the facility. It's also going out in the exclusive live coverage online on RC Racing TV. So welcome to our online viewers who are watching via rcracing.tv and across YouTube. Our coverage there is Reedy powered. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's also presented by Protoform, Zen Racing, and the British Radio Car Association, and one of the fine organisations putting on this event today and showcasing the fine sport of RC racing. If some of the online viewers are wondering, I'll take the odd pause to let the race director speak out over the PA. Very important messages to be relayed, probably more important than what I have to say most of the time. So, this is where things get very, very serious.
Referee, the race director is not going out on our feed, so it's only on the PA.
Practice 2 open. Round 3 will start in 30 seconds.
So round 3
2, 3
of practice
8, 7, 6
is about to commence.
10, 4, 1.
This will be for your LMP2 and 3 runners. This will decide where they're
10
seated.
seconds.
A lot of pressure on these guys. Now, I can give you the drivers who are running out in here, and you'll get a good look, both as they go around the track and on the online stream, the online pictures of these LMP-bodied cars. These are spectacular-looking machines with a vague hint of a look of the sort of machines that you'll see at the world-famous Le Mans 24 Hours, as well as other major sports car racing events around the world. The Le Mans 24 Hours probably being one of the biggest motorsport events in the world, alongside the likes of the Monaco Grand Prix, the Indianapolis 500, etc. So these cars are supremely quick, supremely technologically advanced. There is a lot of tech and a lot of ingenuity packed into these little bodies of these cars. And 1/12 is one of many scales offered in RC racing. This is usually one of the smaller scales for competition. It goes all the way up through 1/10, 1/8, 1/6 through large scale. And
More cautious around each other, please.
there are multiple different ways.
Each other issues there. It's open practice, it is timed, but to give yourself space, it's all about your best 5 consecutive laps.
And it's all about different ways of powering these machines as well. Obviously, these guys powered by brushless electric motors, great power. And as you can see down the main straightaway, a lot of speed in these little things. Give us a good shot right here. Look at that. It's like they're flying down the main straight and into each other. That's not quite how they intended to take the first turns. Well, they'll take it anyway. The electric is just one way of powering your RC car. If you're new to the sport, if you're out on the barriers and wondering what this is all about, there's other ways of powering as well. There's petrol. There's also nitromethanol. And I'll tell you what, there's a good reason they don't run nitromethanol-powered RC cars inside. The racket they make outdoors is loud enough. It puts modern F1 cars to shame, I can tell you that from experience. But these electric cars, they're quiet, they're silent, they're very deadly, and they're very efficient. Now, the drivers in this first class include Mark Barford, likes of Lee Palmer, Uwe Sieber, Chris House, Ingo Oretz, Lee Ellis, Charles Hodgkinson, Sasha Freytag, Gavin Rice, and Damien Giddings. And this is your first of these 2 sessions that each of these drivers is going to get. And it's their best 5 consecutive laps, remember, which is going to decide their qualifying order. And that's the real emphasis of this event out here. It's about rewarding consistency. Anyone can be good over 1 lap. Anyone can be good and be a hot lap king and put together that 1 perfect lap. Thing is, though, to be a truly great RC racing driver and race driver in any discipline, you've got to string those kind of extremely fast laps together, time after time after time. And that's exactly what the Reedy Race of Champions format was set up to reward. Hence the 10 rounds of scoring and the 10 rounds of heat-based racing You know, can't just be good for one race. There's no just knockout final. We had a wreck over on the final corner there. I know the RC racing guys, they're enjoying playing in front of the public, but they want to get a bit too close. They're trying to stage dive into the crowd at times. But this format is set up to reward consistency and the very pinnacle of RC racing at the very intensity. You've got to deliver your A game across, at the very least, 7 of the 10 rounds.
I'll just give Adam a little break there as we'll just take a moment to say thank you to the sponsors who have all made this event possible this weekend. We are RC Racing TV. We're live from the Centre MK Shopping Centre in Milton Keynes. My name's James Parry. We are here thanks to Reedy, thanks to Protoform, and also to Zen Racing, and not forgetting the organising body behind this event, supporting this event, the BRCA. Don't forget, usually at this point I say head over to over to Facebook and search for RC Racing TV and look for our group. But as of last week, ladies and gentlemen, we actually have a new Facebook page. For technical reasons that I will not bore you with, we are moving away from a group over to an actual Facebook page. It helps us communicate with you better. We're going to leave the group open so all you guys can chat to each other, kind of show pictures of your car or your latest crash, or just have general RC chit chat over there. But from 2016 we'll be using the Facebook page to communicate with you all, to tell you about the events that we're going to be attending this year. We do have a lot of events on the calendar. More information to follow on Facebook as and when. Obviously all the stream data will be on there as well, so if you haven't already, and I know there are a lot of you that still yet to do this, head over to Facebook. Facebook.com/RC Racing TV will take you to our page. Go and like our page. You used to have to join us before, now you've got to actually like us after all this time, so do head over there, come and like us and stay up to date with all the information. I think Adam has successfully rested his voice, and I can see the crowds of people here at Centre MK are yearning to hear Adam's voice again over the PA. So without further ado, over to you.
Just allowing my colleague James Parry at RC Racing TV a word with our online viewers. He didn't like me hogging all the glory on the mic, but hey, he said he was giving my voice a rest. No way that's going to happen tomorrow. And we have up to 11 hours of RC Racing action out here in the Centre MK. So if you happen to pop back here tomorrow, if you like what you've seen here, we're just getting started. Just to explain, we are in our little commentary booth here. Now, we have timing updates if we want to, but we do know who's running in each heat. I can tell you very well the runners and riders. And in such a closely contested qualifying session, it's not just tenths that are going to settle this, it's going to be hundredths, it's going to be thousandths of seconds. We're learning maths on how timing goes. This is where it goes right down to the slimmest of margins.
Chicane, be very careful, please. Marshall on
8
track
finished,
now.
3 finished, 1 finished,
Call you finished, turn into the end of the pit lanes.
finished, 4 finished,
As the heat is finished
finished,
for the first
7 finished.
of 2 qualifying rounds.
Okay, just a reminder there for car 3. Can you make sure you get them on both sides of the car, please?
Okay, next heat, all cars for a second. The track repair.
And as you can see, once again, track repairs going on out there. Hard-working team of marshals, they'll rotate in and out as the heats go on. Everyone will be expected to have their shift in terms of keeping the cars on track and keeping the track together. As you can see, these are cars so fast and so furious that they are trying to escape the confines of the track that we've set out for them. It's an incredibly technical racetrack. I'll give you a little guide of the track itself. Also give a guide to our online viewers as well. Come around and be able to explain. Right now, as you can see, the track repair is going on in there. Just in that sort of third complex, if you will. It's more almost like a sort of series of complex corner arrangements. But just behind them there, as marshals, you can just see the run into turns 1 and 2. That fast right straight into a braking zone for the turn 2 hairpin. And then you go into turn 3, the left-hander there. Then turn 4 and 5, a pair of hairpins. 6, a sharp right. 7, a fast right. 8 and 9, another one of those little back and forth complex hairpin sections. Then 10 is the left-hander. 11, 12 down here.
Can we switch that car on, please?
And we'll start, well, we'll pause for a moment on our track guide because this is where they're going to be starting from. This is their stabling area where they qualify from. And as you can see on the right there,
Jim, can you turn me that car on, please?
as you can see on the right there is the pit section. We've got a car that's actually stopped over in the turn 5 section. Should be joining up with the rest of its colleagues very soon. As you can see there, that pit area just to your right if you're watching online, and down at the back if you're watching here in the centre MK. That's the stabling area, that's the pit road. They won't need to make pit stops during the heats, but this is obviously where the cars will be unleashed out onto the track, because of course they can't let them go out on the start-finish straight, because then the crewmen will have to run back across the entire track. That's not a good situation for anyone. So they're stable over here, and for tomorrow's races they will head round to that start-finish stretch there where you see the grid slots. They'll start from there. The intensity at the start of each of those heats when they're lined up on the grid, you just can't beat it. You almost need the chain playing in the background because it is as intense as anything you'll see in Formula One or any other type of racing in the world. As the cars in this second heat are being unleashed one by one, they pan round. There's 13, then 14 and 15, the dual hairpins. And then 16 and 17 is that final hairpin. Absolutely vital to get a good run out of that corner, because the earlier you can get back on the throttle coming out of that corner, think of the amount of speed you're going to pick up down that front straight, which is where they're going to go incredibly fast. These are cars that are, I don't even want to know what kind of scale speed they're hitting. Somewhere in the thousands of miles per hour, but in terms of real world speed, they are quick enough to keep up with anything full scale or anything you've got parked out in the car park right now. As cars filter their way around, navigating this complex section. It's a very complex racetrack. This is very much a typical RC racing track. You've got your floor space. Let's fill it with as much racetrack and corners as possible. But everything has a flow, everything has a pattern to it. Everything has a purpose. It's designed to create great racing and great overtaking opportunities. As, remind you, I'll be going out on the PA over here to the guys in the venue. You'll also be able to hear my commentary on the online feed. And welcome to our online viewers on RC Racing TV. Our exclusive live coverage of this event presented by Reedy, Protoform Race Bodies, Zen Racing and the British Radio Car Association, and all the good people in charge of running this fine event. As you see the marshals quickly dashing, I have to say a quick word to the marshals are out there who are mostly drivers and crew in the other heats who are rotated in. They're stabled to do specific heats. And I tell you what, with how quick the race cars are, those guys may not look like athletes at the best of times, but I'll tell you what, those guys have to turn into Usain Bolt most of the time to be able to get back across the racetrack and avoid interfering with another car coming round. Because you can see these guys, they're not hanging around. You may think you have enough time. There was one marshal, as I just say that, skipping back across the track safely to his marshalling point. Just see two cars coming through here near the end of the lap. There's another one. Just demonstrates my point to you really well. And what a great job these marshals do. And as we see in the centre section there, just saw that on the online stream. Marshal is retrieving them. Those two semicircular sections, they are padding, and they are sections designed to reinforce the barriers and avoid cars punting into them. As you can see, catch them with the wrong angle, those things can go flying. So that's one other thing the marshals have to keep an eye on, have to make sure is in good working order to avoid disrupting the drivers there. There was, just for a moment there was a marshal there balanced on the wall between the start finish line and back. It was like a sort of trapeze act, and made it back safely without disrupting any of the cars as they come through. And cycling through, remember, it's all about stringing strong laps together. Not about just nailing one, you've got to nail 2, 3, 4 and 5. That is how much you've got to do out here. And this is only the start of the pressure. This is basically them easing into competition. The driver easing in. And as we see right now on the stream, and he's just coming through near the pit entry. That is, I think, the number 9 car, who is absolutely tearing around. He's been leaving a lot of people out there. This is a very strong performance And you can quickly start to see the runners and riders come about. And it's when you start passing people in qualifying, when you're stable based on practice speed, you know that true pace can occur. For a lot of those guys that was learning the track, we've had a car just crash over the barriers down here. It's not the number 9 car, I apologise. This car's moving quicker, so fast, faster than the speed of light, or at least faster than the eye can often see from here. A great job by the RC Racing TV cameraman and camera crew as well, able to keep up with these things, because it is certainly not a job for the faint of heart.
Got another mic, I can say a few words if you want.
Before your first warning for re-entering the racing line without considering other cars on the circuit.
Just a reminder to our online viewers on RC Racing TV, if you hear me pause briefly, that's because in the arena, race director and the referee will be giving instructions. Obviously, I don't want to be stumbling over their words. I don't want to be stepping on their lines, giving out important messages for guys or track repairs that need to be done, guys who have infringed, drivers who need to be penalised. That's exactly the last thing I want to be tripping over and disrupting. So on the online viewers, you might not hear that quite as much. So you might be wondering, why the hell is he pausing just out of nowhere? That's the reason. There's an example right there for you. But obviously, if you're in the arena, you hear me going out with the PA, you can hear this coverage going out over the PA system. You'll hear both very clearly. As I tell you what, the wall down here near the drive-through zone, just at the far corner here, down in the bottom left here, our online viewers can see it now. Look at how much that thing has fallen out of its original slot where it was supposed to be installed on the track. Because so many cars come through there so fast, that right-hander so quickly, so you see them speed through there. And it takes one of them running wide or two colliding there. One stuck under the barrier a little bit. And he heads off again. But you can see just the impact of how hard these guys are pushing. And it takes one of them to slip wide and thwack straight into that barrier down there and dislodge it. The track repair crews and the marshals doing a big job. And as I say that, we've got a car that spirals completely off track. That was the number 6 car. They went completely off the track there. Vaulted the fence altogether. Didn't need to bash into it. Decided, I'm going to clear it. Like a long jump, or a high jump rather. So, this heat is starting to conclude. Starting to wind down. And that'll be it. Now remember, these guys obviously will get... Obviously these guys will get a second chance at qualifying. After this one, they weren't entirely satisfied. They'll be able to come back in a little bit, head back to the pits. There is a vast pit area. There is a vast pit area out here to the back. You see, if you're walking through around the back, most of the fans, most of the general public out on the back fence. Most of the guys up on the back fence, I can see you guys out there. You'll see just behind where I'm standing behind, where you can see the drivers up on the podium up there, where they'll be watching their own cars going around and watching their cars very closely. You'll be able to see the pit complex around here. And I can tell you, it is a hive of activity non-stop. From the time that the venue opens, from the time that the venue shuts, there is a mass amount of activity going on back here. As you can see, and our online viewers are now seeing that now. You can just see, you're also seeing me as well, hello. You can see here the vast range of activity going on down here. And if you're new to RC Racing, if you're one of the fans out here, one of the guys just watching over the fence here, watching the action going on, have a look. I implore you to have a look down in the pit area. Guys are friendly, they don't bite, but they are hugely competitive, and you'll be able to see the amount of preparation, detail, and care that goes into these cars and extracting the maximum speed out of each of them. And the pit area is never quiet when competition is on. Even in practice earlier, these guys have been refining their cars to the nth degree to make sure that they get the best out of the speed of their cars.
Slowly, please. To the line in a controlled manner. No figure of eights, don't worry. Just go to the line.
So you can see some people up in the John Lewis Cafe having an observation. And I'm joined up here on the podium as we get to start this third heat by Mr. Mark Stiles.
Hello.
How are you doing up here?
I'm good, thank you. Good.
Now, just explain to us a little bit more about these cars. I've been talking about how much detail and attention goes in. We'll just pause for a second as the starting order is about to be confirmed. Will be released one by one. So we'll let these guys go. These guys head out, they're all lined up.
Practice 4 open. Round 3 will start in 30 seconds. Start order 6, 1, 8, 4, 3, 10, 5, 7, 9, 2.
So that's just been read out over the channel. You
10
can hear
seconds.
those will be the numbers of the cars unleashed. They're about to be cut loose for their qualifying heat.
Six, 1, 8, 4, 3, 10, 5, 7, 9, 2.
And there we go, the cars are underway and off for their qualifying. So, as I was saying, Mark, just talk us through a little bit about these cars and the sort of tech that's underneath these bodies. These things are highly refined racing machines, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, when you mention a radio control car to a lot of people, they might imagine something they've had as a young child, something you'd buy from a shop or a shopping centre like this one, but these ones are a bit more technically advanced than that. Typically, they have chassis that are made from carbon fibre. They use materials such as aerospace grade aluminium and titanium, and they're actually quite highly refined miniature racing machines, really.
They are unbelievable bits of kit, and it always stuns me whenever I see these cars close up down in the pits with the shells off and everything. The brushless motors, the tyres, the attention to detail here is incredible. Let's not kid ourselves here. For those, particularly those out in the venue here, obviously for our online viewers, they know exactly what's what. They are RC racing enthusiasts, but for people just coming through here, let's not kid ourselves. These are no toys.
Absolutely not, no. Although we like to joke that they are. We all tell everyone that we go racing toy cars and win plastic trophies, but yeah, we take it a bit more seriously than that, and yeah, it is highly competitive, and the margins are often very, very slim. I mean, you'll see races won this weekend by hundredths, possibly thousandths of a second. You know, wheel-to-wheel racing. Currently at the top end of this event, the separation between the top drivers is, you know, the best laps hairlines apart, really. It's very, very close, and ordinarily we do 8-minute races, and I've won and lost races by less than a tenth of a second after 8 minutes in the past. So yeah, everything counts, and obviously the cars are very small, so if you imagine how much difference, say for example on a Formula 1 car, 1 millimetre of movement might make to that car, everything is scaled down, so a millimetre on these cars is night and day, really. We're talking about tenths of a millimetre in a lot of places on the cars.
And that's often why, as I just said, you can see the pits behind us are a hive of activity. Your own stall here is here. You're being one of those top divisioners as well. Feeling any nerves at all? You feeling good?
I was feeling quite nervous earlier. Obviously, it's not often we get to compete at an event of this calibre, really, as a lot of drivers from abroad come over for this. So it's going to be very competitive. So I was a little bit nervous. Unfamiliar carpet to me, this is. So I wasn't sure whether the setup that I've previously had on my car was going to be the ticket, but fortunately I've got fairly good pace in my car. I just need to refine the consistency a bit and make it easier to drive. So.
Excellent. Now, just talk us through a little bit about the carpet surface here. There's no pile to this thing at all. This is a specifically designed race surface for RC racing, isn't it?
Yes, it's basically very fine needle carpet. So as you say, there's no pile to it. It's not something you'd put in your living room. It's more similar to the kind of stuff that you'd get perhaps at an exhibition hall. If you went to a car show or the motor show, for example, a car manufacturer might like to put some carpet like this on their stand to jazz it up a little bit. So yeah, if you push your thumb into it, it's actually hard, and yeah, the strands are very fine, and it's really a hard racing surface, but it provides enormous grip for these cars.
We can see it out there right now, but even so, everyone's going to be pushing the limits even more, and that's why we're seeing the track limits, if you will, the barriers being tested in every heat as well. And now these RC racing in whole, these cars will race, have the potential to race across Britain, across Europe, and across the world on surfaces like this, on outdoor venues, on tarmac, and full-scale surfaces. And RC racing really it's a global motorsport like any other, isn't it?
Yes, although there are obviously obvious differences. I think the main difference I would say between model car racing and perhaps full-size motorsport is that you can go into a shop, of which there are several here this weekend, buy a car, and it's the same car that a world champion is using. So it's not like Formula One racing where you've got to work your way up through the different classes and ranks. You can actually buy a car from a shop, and you can essentially buy the same equipment that the top guys are running. So you can start off at club level, work your way all the way up to world championship level using essentially the same car.
It's very much the win on Sunday, sell on Monday ethos.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, for a lot of people, this is a profession. So we have drivers here this weekend who are paid a salary by the manufacturers to drive the cars. It's essentially their day job. They develop the cars and help work on their design. And yeah, essentially it's their job in the same way as it is for Lewis Hamilton or Sebastian Vettel. Obviously they don't get paid anywhere near as much, but they manage to earn a living from it.
Well, that should be encouragement to anyone, especially any of the younger kids out there hanging on the fences right now. Did they just say that right? You can get paid to race RC cars? That sounds like a career choice for me.
Yeah, I think there's obviously different tiers of support and sponsorship and profession. So a number of us get support from manufacturers whereby they'll supply us with equipment. Some of us might be on bonuses for winning events. So for example, it's not my day job. I have a Monday to Friday that I go to. But I do get some help from manufacturers that, as you say, it's a win on Sunday, sell on Monday ethos. So my sponsors supply me with equipment because they're hoping that I'll do well with it. And if other competitors see that I'm doing well, they're more likely to buy it.
So you'll be the sort of inspiration for those in terms of leading the market. It's very similar to the similarities to full-size racing. Really, when you get down to it, there is a lot. There's a lot that separates RC racing. But really, this is small scale, but full-size action and more.
Yeah, I think it's what I like to describe it as is motorsport in miniature, really. It's just take full-size motorsport and scale it down. You don't get the thrill and the exhilaration of driving a full-size car, but you do get that pre-race tension, the nerves, the butterflies in your stomach, and you get the buzz of a close race and competition with people.
Now, just talk us through, obviously the driver's now heading up to their podium. The online viewers will see, just to the right there, that's the driver's podium, the rostrum, if you will, where these guys will watch their cars and drive them from. Just explain to us the art of driving an RC car at such a high speed, because obviously in full-scale racing, you're behind the wheel. You see the corners coming up.
Yes.
How do you visualise it from that far away and sort of visualise the track as it comes up at such high speed?
Yeah, it's a question a lot of people ask, and I think, generally speaking, we find that young children that have perhaps been exposed to video games, Forza Motorsport and things like that, tend to pick it up quite quickly because they're used to using their fingers to drive the car and also their eyes. Despite the fact you're not actually sat in the car, you still get the sensation of handling balance. So we talk about oversteer and understeer in racing, and you do get those sensations with these cars. So we refine and modify the setups, the body shells, the tyres, to try and get the cars feeling how we would like. And it's a difficult thing to describe, how you can feel what something's doing without actually touching it or being inside it. And I think obviously the brain is a very complex thing, and I think your brain is constantly computing what its eyes are seeing and what your fingers are telling the car to do.
Absolutely. Now, obviously we have the next heat lining up now for qualifying. This is the first of 2 rounds of time qualifying.
Open. Round 3 will start in 30 seconds.
That's your 30-second signal. There's a certain pattern of signals and sounds that come out here to alert everyone in the arena and the competitors, most importantly, of who's going when. They've had their 30-second warning, they will have a 10-second warning now. There it is.
5 consecutive laps, give yourself plenty of space.
Here we go.
For your grading.
5, 8, 6, 3, 1, 7, 10, 2, 4, 9.
And there they go, the car's underway. You heard there, especially if you were in the arena. Maybe also you heard it on the our online viewers on the stream as well. They'll have heard the series of signals that go out 30-second countdown, the 10-second countdown. Remember, like the boards, you'll see at full-scale race events as well. The marshals will hold out the guys on the grid. It's a very similar system here now. Mark, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the qualifying sessions we're seeing now. As a competitor, what's your main goal out of this one in terms of getting top seeding for the events coming up, or the heats coming up tomorrow, the competition? What's the big advantage out of that?
Okay, so what we've got here this weekend, there are two separate classes essentially. There's an invitational class where there's been the top drivers from around the world actually invited to come and compete at this event. They're in an event all on their own really, but the cars you're watching now are in the open class. Anyone could enter it. There are 70 of these cars in total, and what we're going to do is essentially split them in half into two separate categories. So what these guys are trying to do is set the fastest consecutive 5 laps that they possibly can in order to try and get into the top 30 overall, because we're going to split the class. The top 30 drivers will go into one category and the remaining 40 into another. So there's some drivers in this race who will definitely be inside that top 30 as long as they can string 5 laps together. There will be others that are just on the cusp, and they'll want to try and make it into that upper class because they want to race against the best drivers. And obviously the higher category has more recognition and more glory if you can win it essentially. So
more prestige, if you will. It's very, very similar to any other sport. You get better by playing better opponents, if you will, and especially in this category, any of those guys on the marginal end will be looking to move up into that top tier, and that'll be cemented across the weekend, won't it? Once you're in those two categories, that's it. There's no going back. But obviously, as the heats go on in the individual classes, the names and the drivers in each one will be reshuffled in each one, so you'll have different opposition effectively in each round. Yeah. So this is what we call a race of champions format. So once they've done what I was just describing, segregating the cars into two separate classes, during tomorrow and Sunday, the cars will be mixed for every round of racing, so you'll race against different people every time. It will be a grid start, so you can see some grid markings on the main straight that are marked out for tomorrow and Sunday. So you'll start in a different grid position each time, race against different people, and it's all about where you finish relative to everyone else, position. So it suddenly becomes about position rather than time tomorrow. And it's basically whoever gets the least number of points across the 2 days. So if you win a race, you get 1 point. If you finish second, you get 2. So it's designed to be fair. Everyone races everyone. Everyone starts in a different position on the grid. Everyone gets an equal bite at the cherry, and it's whoever can progress the highest in their races that will come out on top. And you mentioned there, in this Reedy Race of Champions format, the 10 rounds, you get your 3 drop scores, and even in qualifying, it's all about your best 5 consecutive laps. The real theme of this event, for me, is consistent excellence. It's not like, for example, the full-scale Race of Champions, where it's 2 laps head-to-head, or full-scale qualifying sessions, for example, in Formula 1, where it's about that 1 fast lap right on the limit. This is about those on-the-limit laps, one after the other. So how important is that consistency in being able to go out there and smash it literally every single time?
It's very important, and more so tomorrow and Sunday than it is today. I think today they're kind of going more hell for leather, trying to set fast times. It's relatively easy to do 5 consecutive laps if you're driving to a decent level. But to then do 6 minutes continuously without making a mistake is actually very difficult. So they'll be looking today for speed in their cars, whereas in the back of their mind they'll also be thinking, actually, I've got to be able to drive this for 6 minutes without making a mistake if I can. So they'll also be looking for, as you say, that consistency that will allow them to maintain positions and also race against people without losing control of their car.
So obviously in the sessions today, you maybe be able to afford having a setup where you're right on the ragged edge, but for tomorrow, if you've got to nail it over 6 minutes across 10 rounds, it's no good having a car that's fast over 1 lap, which you could lose control of at any point. It's almost a tortoise and the hare scenario, except the tortoise is about as fast as the hare in that respect. Yeah,
I think the key with a Reedy race is consistency and patience. So you could have the fastest car in the race tomorrow, but you might be starting from 9th or 10th on the grid. And the key is to be patient when you're working your way through the slower cars. It's no good diving up the inside and hitting the other guy off, because we've got a referee, Steve, sat on the end of the podium here, he's watching the close battles, and if there's any foul play, he'll call you in for a penalty. So if you're a little bit over exuberant, then you're going to pay the price. So patience is an important part of it in this particular format, where it's racing all the time.
Yeah. And obviously the penalties are fairly obvious in that respect. Avoidable contact, I would say track cutting, but there's really no way you can cut the track unless you pull off some Dukes of Hazzard jumping over some of the barriers. But you are, I mean, in those classes you talked about earlier, you are in that top class, you're in that invitational class. How's the pressure feeling like right now when you get that letter saying you've been invited to the Reedy Race of Champions?
For a lot of people, including myself, it's a bit of an honour to race at a Reedy Race of Champions, really. It's we've invited the top 20 or so drivers in the world to come and compete here. So to be one of those and get an email or a letter which essentially invites you to the event is quite a special thing for a lot of us. And also Reedy is a brand. Reedy make electronics, particularly motors they're known for, an American company. And Mike Reedy, who set the company up, was all about fair competition and good racing. So to be invited to compete essentially on his behalf is quite an honour.
It's one of those real good big ticks in the life box, I'd imagine, especially if you're an RC racer and such a competitive guy as yourself. Now, obviously you're in that top class, you're in with those top guys, European and world champions, world over factory drivers. Now obviously you've got 10 rounds to do. It's your 7 best scores to go forward. You can afford to drop 3. It's almost like those old Sonic the Hedgehog games where you have your live system. If there's any younger guys out in the shopping centre today, they won't understand this. There's no lives in video games anymore. But I was of that generation where you played Sonic or Mario, you had your live system. Yep. Is that kind of how it is? You almost have 3, not excuses, but sort of buys where if you throw a race or make a mistake, you think, okay, that's all right, I can afford to drop that.
Yeah, I think obviously we mentioned consistency and patience. Yes, it's your best 7 from 10. So essentially, if you make a mistake in a run, or if you have a mechanical failure, it's not day done. You know, you can if you strip a spur gear or damage a tyre and drop out of a race, it doesn't ruin your weekend. You can afford to have a couple of drop scores. So it's not like Formula One where every race counts. So it does give you a little bit of leeway in that respect. So in the back of your mind, if you have a bad race, yes, you're disappointed, but actually you think, well, I can have three of these and still be okay. So yeah, personally, I'd prefer if it was more to count than 7. I tend to be more consistent than fast at this kind of event. But we'll see how it pans out.
9, 5, 3, 7.
Just running through the starting order now
10, 8.
for this latest heat, but you're absolutely right.
I need to go and do my tyres in a minute.
Okay. Well, Mark, thank you very much for talking to us up here. You've been giving us a big insight to how these cars compete. These guys are about to take off. Here we go.
1, 6, 9, 5, 3, 7, 2,
I'll be back in a little while.
8, 4.
And as these guys take off, we thank Mark Stiles very much for his contribution up here on the commentary here on the PA, in the venue, as well as to our online viewers here on RC Racing TV. We understand if you're watching us online, you're an RC Racing enthusiast. We're probably teaching you how to suck eggs, but for the fans out here in the venue, the guys watching on the fence, the people mooching through thinking, blimey, RC Racing's got a lot more serious since I last played with my toy that's out in the shed. This is the sort of discipline, and these are the sort of things you have to understand about just how intense the competition is. And the basic theme there from Mark and his comments, for me, it really spelled out how RC racing, in a way, is completely unique in terms of everything else. The amount of times Mark said, unlike Formula One, were pretty telling. But at the same time, there's not that much of a difference. The guys down here are just as dedicated and just as determined to win. I've had guys absolutely furious in post-tournament press conferences before. I've had guys jumping for joy. I've had guys in tears in the post-race interviews. Trust me, this is just as much dedication, passion, speed, power and glory as any other motor racing discipline on this planet. Formula One, British touring cars, world sports cars, or otherwise. It doesn't matter. These guys are here to race and to win. Anything else is just standing still. So as the cars in this latest heat navigate through. Remember, they are looking for those fastest 5 consecutive laps. So they're looking to string those together. It's all about flow and rhythm around here. As Mark explained, there's that weird synergy between driver and car, which means that despite the fact you're up on a rostrum, you see the drivers up on that rostrum. If you're in the arena, you'll see them at the far side here, just behind the pit lane. You'll see them on the camera on the online stream in a minute. You'll understand the concept of the rostrum for the drivers. These guys can be very far away from their cars, especially at certain outdoor venues that we go to. They can be up to about 30 meters or further away from their cars. And yet, as Mark explained there, you still get a feel for how the car's driving. I know, for me, that seems a strange concept, but you learn what your car does, you learn it inside out. It's like riding a bike, it's like driving a full-scale car, it's like doing anything else. You just learn and you feel. It's that link between hand and eyes and brain, and it has to be all important. You have to have lightning-fast reactions and an innate sense of just what that car is doing underneath you. So it may not look like there's much difference in these cars and speed, but trust me, every single driver will be feeling different characteristics in their car, different ways it's running. Is it sliding a bit too much in the corners? Is it pushing too much? If you're new to racing, you may have heard the terms oversteer and understeer. In fact, if you watch Top Gear, you've probably heard Jeremy Clarkson bang on about oversteer. Oversteer basically means the rear end of the car's sliding out, so the front's turning a lot, the rear isn't, it's all sliding around. That's where you get all that spectacular power slide stuff. Looks great on camera, on Top Gear, not actually the fastest way around a track in many cases. You want that car to be straight and true throughout every corner and smooth. Understeer, on the other hand, is where the front end is not turning in as much, so you sort of move out towards the wall on corner exit, and no matter how much you turn in, it's just wanting to just go straight. It doesn't want to go where you want it to. So understeer is basically the front end not turning properly. Oversteer is the rear end not turning properly. There's your steering 101 for racers. As I say, for our viewers on the online stream on RC Racing TV, I definitely am teaching you how to suck eggs here. Because these guys and the RC Racing TV community, if you want a great place to start in the world of RC racing, if you're interested in what you see here and you want to learn more, the RC Racing TV community, a Facebook group, and more, it's a great place to do it. A website chock full of content, and a Facebook group chock full of many of the people here, actually. There's a lot of people involved in the sport are in it. Drivers, promoters, organisers, commentators, broadcasters like ourselves here on the team. We'll all be there. And trust me, we don't bite too much. But this is a great introduction for many to RC racing. Seeing it right in front of you, it's almost unavoidable, if you will, if you're wandering through the centre. And I'm enjoying, you'll see this briefly a bit. Our viewers on the online stream will see this to a degree as well, as they see these cars go flying around. I love seeing the curiosity on some of the fans who are up on the fence. The guys have come over, and they're seeing the spectacle and the wonder. And I love the sight of some of you just going, wow, what is this? This is brilliant. And I love that feeling. If you have that sort of love for the sport, trust me, even I'm getting it. And I'm working in this industry now. But it helps to always have that enthusiasm. And if you've got that sort of spark, then trust me, you have the potential to be an RC racing fan or to be directly involved in RC racing itself for the rest of your life. As Mark said just a moment ago, a lot of these drivers are factory drivers. They are hired by the companies making the bodies, engines, chassis, these kinds of cars, building the entire kits. You'll see them on the banners. You'll see them on the fences. Your Schumachers, Team Associated, etc. Reedy themselves. And you'll see all the different companies. Protoform, the guys presenting our coverage here. Reedy, Protoform Race Bodies, and Zen Racing, the aggregation of marginal gains, which I think is just a brilliant marketing slogan in that way. As we have some high-stepping action from the marshals over there on the start-finish straight. Gets a round of applause from the driver's rostrum. That was magnificent stuff. I'm convinced some of these guys will be Olympians. Maybe that's a way of training them, to send fast-paced RC cars flying at them. We've got some high-stepping action, some high jumping, sprinting. It's all happening in the heat of battle as this heat of racing concludes. And Mark Stiles himself has returned to the pit area for final preps, because his heat will be up fairly soon. We are on heat 6 right now in round 3 of qualifying. So hopefully we should have some live timing up for you very soon. let you know the exact rundown of how people are looking right now. But practice round 7 will be the final round of open, not practice round 7, qualifying round 1, heat 7 will be the last of the open class runners. Those are the guys that Mark was talking about, the guys who have had to apply to be here today, and they have been granted that honour, and they are here looking to prove themselves. And what a crowd to be able to prove yourself in front of. I'm not just talking about the fans out in the arena, out in the shopping centre. I'm talking about the drivers in the top Reedy Invitational class, which will be coming up after this heat. We'll see those guys on track for the first time, especially if you're on our online feed. You'll be able to see them for the first time out here. And trust me, some of these guys, their reputation and their record in the game is absolutely unparalleled. I'm looking down, I've got a book of notes here. And as I say, there's certain drivers here who are taking up an entire A4 page of notes, just listing the things they've won, let alone anything else about them. I mean, that's the sort of resume that the likes of Michael Schumacher and Sebastian Vettel can boast about. And in RC racing, it really does give you an indication of the talent on display. And when we say this is an all-star race, we really aren't joking. Cars lining up on the line here. You'll see them on the far side of the track. And on the online stream, you'll see them at the bottom of the picture. Trying to line up on the line there.
That's far enough.
I'm going to give Adam another chance to rest his voice, whilst I say thank you to the Reedy Racing Champions for inviting us, RCTV, over to cover the event. We're here all weekend in Milton Keynes Centre MK Shopping Centre, just outside John Lewis. If you would like to come along, watch the race, say hello, come join us. Of course, thank you to Reedy, Protoform, and of course Zen Racing. And I'm trying to think of the right terminology for this. I think it's in association with BRCA. I'm going to find out what the official line is for how BRCA are involved in this event. But anyway, lots of people talking in the YouTube chat. Don't forget, you don't just have to watch us on YouTube. You can head over there down the right-hand side. We have YouTube have a comments box. Lots of people in there at the moment talking. Feel free to join in. Come and join the chat. If you haven't already, don't forget we have a new Facebook page. It's better than a group. We now have a page. Lots of technical, boring reasons that I won't bore you with, but it will help us to keep you more up to date with the events that we cover throughout the year. And if you've not already been over to that page and liked it, do head over to www.facebook.com/RCRacingTV. That will take you to our page. Confusingly, it's called exactly the same thing as the group. So I just want to make it clear that it is the page, not the group. But we will be posting streams, live information from most of our races. We'll be posting content throughout the day. So yeah, don't miss out on that information. Get over there and like us. I think that's all that's all I want to say right now. Over to you, Adam.
Just allow my colleague James a word for the online viewers here. The RC Racing TV coverage of this magnificent event going out around the world on the internet, on YouTube, with the dedicated rcracing.tv website, spreading out over social media. Anyone out in the arena, if this has piqued your interest in RC racing, that's as good a place as any to start. Joining the Facebook group, liking the Facebook page. I believe there's a Twitter presence. But either way, there is plenty of ways to get involved. And if you're watching us at home on the live stream, welcome to the venue. And for the benefit of our online viewers, I'll just give you a demonstration or an explanation as to how it feels out here. We're in the middle of a shopping centre. That's about the best way of describing it. In the middle of a shopping centre, and this tournament of high-intensity RC racing is going on. And I just love the look of the mix of amusement and excitement on the faces of the general public as they wander through here. It's magnificent to see. Great way to attract new fans to the sport and cement existing ones, of which most of you guys on the stream will be exactly that.
I forgot to mention, I just want to update our viewers over on YouTube. a couple of people, namely, I've just lost the name there, Dan Howes. Hi, Dan. Yes, very well spotted of you to notice that there is no live timing at the moment. Being in public in a shopping centre, let's just say Wi-Fi is fun. Everyone's trying to use Wi-Fi. It's been a fun day because of this. Oh, somebody, not me, has beat me to that answer. Somebody else is on our YouTube admin page. Whoever you were, thank you. But yes, live timing should be up tomorrow. We're just waiting for the technical powers that be to make the things happen that we need to put the live timing on the screen. As soon as it's available to us, it will be available to you. To please bear with us. Until then, I will get Adam to announce the live timings as they happen constantly throughout the race. Is that possible? No. Okay, no, he's saying no. Adam isn't prepared to just shout out live timings throughout the race, so for now we'll just have to listen to the commentary instead.
As this heat continues, remember this is the Open, or the final of the Open Division heats for this first round of qualifying. The guys you'll see out on track after these guys will be the Reedy Invitationals, the ones who, as Mark explained on the commentary, are the ones who are handpicked and invited themselves to RC Racing's own fight club, if you will, to RC Racing's premier category. And there is no bigger honour in any sporting discipline to come to the Invitational. Effectively what you're watching here, both online and in the venue, is RC Racing's Masters Tournament. You see Snooker's Masters Tournament on right now. Same with the golf tournament, the very same name. Those invite-only ones, the prestige. It's not so much a points battle on offer. There is money, and there is the honour of saying that I am a Reedy world champion. I'm an invitational champion. I was invited to it because I'm one of the best RC racing drivers in the world, and then I went out and proved it. And for these guys out here, they are here for very different reasons. They have applied and submitted to be part of this tournament, basically with the nomenclature of, hey, I may not have the record of those guys you've invited specifically, but here is my chance to prove that I deserve to be on the same stage as them. Exactly the same.
Can I just say, being invited isn't that big a thing. I was invited. I was invited to film it. Just saying.
It's very rare, James. You were invited. We were invited to film it. I should clarify, we weren't invited to drive in it, and there's probably a very good reason for that. We'd probably end up on top of the British Radio Car Association gazebo at the far end of the track. The car, I mean, not us. That'd be kind of strange. As you see this car circulating, just as I say that, on the camera on the online feed, and at the far end of the track there, number 2 car goes flying spectacularly. Those cars, you can just see how much speed they get up, even in the tight corners and the technical sections. Just how much speed they get up and how fast they lap this track. So we watch this new number 2 car on the online stream. There we go. It's past the start finish line. Through the first few corners, we're watching the number 2 white and yellow car coming through the middle of the track now. Through into this triple hairpin section. Round through the final hairpin, back to the front straight. I've lost count at the time of that lap. It was that quick. You need a stopwatch on that one, and even then I think it'll be hard-paced to hit the button on there that says count another lap. As cars are concluding this session, concluding this heat, we shall also take a brief rest as well as the top guns get ready to play. Marcus headed back down to the pits. He had a word with us before, and he gave us the inside line on this tournament as well. Both for everyone out in the shopping centre venue and for everyone locking in on RC Racing TV on our exclusive live coverage. We thank you everyone who has joined in to watch. Our coverage is being presented by Reedy themselves, Race Engines, Protoform Race Bodies, Zen Racing, and the British Radio Car Association. Thanks very much for joining us. Stick around. This is where things are getting very interesting.
There's a 12-year-old race and then there's a 68-year-old racing. That's the 8 spread. Massive.
Brilliant. In fact, I'm just being informed by a very reliable source. If you want an appropriate demonstration of how open and kind of wide-ranging the world of RC racing is, in this tournament alone, there is a 12-year-old competing and a 68-year-old competing. All on level ground as well. Brilliant. As Mark explained earlier, RC racing kind of does favour, to a degree, the younger generation, the younger talent. Then again, I grew up playing Gran Turismo and I still don't think I'll be very good at this. You've definitely got to have an aptitude and a talent for this. And if you've still got your eye in at 68 years old, more power to you.
1 to 10, please.
Right now, as you can see, some track repairs going on. Some very marginal track repairs going on now. This is very interesting. Up in the invitational class, and look at this. Our online viewers, you'll see it to the left of your shot. You'll see they are lining up, not with much decorum at the moment, but they are lining up in grid slots on the far side. The tension in the arena has just cranked up.
Amongst other cars, start getting in the zone.
So there are 8 out in this first LMP1 heat, LMP1 being the top class. The invitational drivers out here. The countdown is on. Let's get ready to race. This is where
10 seconds. Clear the grid.
the RC racing season begins. Feel the nerves. Away they go. And look how fast they took off from a standing start there. Absolutely sensational acceleration out of these little brushless electric motors. If you're anyone doubting the hype of cars like the Tesla P85 and about electric power, these are the last cars to prove to you. Electric motors. I was about to make a bad pun about buzzing there. I think I'll neglect that one because that was terrible, even my bias standards. But suffice to say, the brushless motors in these little machines, more than enough to propel them to phenomenal top speeds. And at certain tracks, these cars can hit upwards of 60, 70 miles per hour on the straights. The car whacking the barriers at the end of the straight. I want to say that's the number 2 car. I'm peering here. I'm literally on the edge of the track here. And I've got the live screen here as well for our RC Racing TV coverage. And even I'm struggling to identify each car as they go through. You're looking at the smallest of numbers. And I'll tell you what, props to our cameraman here as well, who's doing a great job of keeping these cars in shot, because they are moving at absolute light speed around this track. These are some of the finest drivers out here in the world. Invited along, likes of Tim Altman, Juho Leivinen, David Spashit, who incidentally was the driver earlier who I mentioned I ran out of room on an A4 page trying to write down the list of all the things he's won over the years. Great Britain's David Spashit, winning championships as far back as 1994 and as recently as 2006. An incredible RC racing driver with a record unparalleled only by the likes of the very, very top guys in the world of RC racing. The likes of Martin Hoodies and the real big guns. And you've also got other guys. Now, not everyone in these series are champions, but they're all incredibly talented guys. So Chris Hillier, Vesa Yili, Kai Altman. There's 2 Altmans in this race. In this first heat, we'll be seeing soon the likes of Alex Hagberg, a reigning champion in multiple European disciplines over the last year or so. And the likes of Mark Stiles himself, who joined me up here in commentary not long ago to give me the inside line. I can tell you right now, he is one of many drivers down in the pit area. He's applying final checks and modifications to his car. Every millimetre and tenth of a second will count and be the decisive factor between winning and losing over the course of the next few days. In qualifying, you almost can afford to not quite get it right. From tomorrow onwards, there's no more second chances. Those 3 scores that you can drop over the heats, they may feel like 3 lives, but if you're the best of the best, you'll aim to not need them. Because sometimes if you use one of them, it can sort of play on your mind. You've had to use one get out of jail free card. Suddenly you have to use a second one.
2,
And then a third one.
7, 4,
That's just down in front of us, the number 2 car.
6,
Juho
5,
Leevenham
1.
has just hit the barriers down here. It's just been retrieved. He's now back on the track. You can see him coming through. He's just been passed. I want to say that's the number 3 of David Spashit. As I say, his car's going so quickly. I think that's the 3 on the side of his car. It's the silver bullet out there. He's absolutely flying. And at the moment, goes through. As you can see, it being qualifying, some of these guys are okay with letting guys come through. Does not impede their lap. Does not impede their competitor's lap. They could risk penalties for it. And the race directors will be very strict on that. The last thing they want is shenanigans and funny business deciding the grid order for the first of the heats tomorrow morning and potentially affecting the result. At the very pinnacle of RC racing out here. Spashit's all-silver machine. Absolutely flying around this track. And I did distinctively catch the number 3 on there for a split second as he slowed a little bit in one of the hairpins and then took off at maximum speed again. And we have a car stopped on the track down here. That's the number 6. Yes, that's number 6. He is back going now, the bright green machine. That's Chris Hillier, who is back underway. I don't know if he was stopping there. Obviously, the car appears to be running okay, so my guess is that potentially he was looking for a bit of clean track with no one in front of him to get some laps in. Because the car seems to be running fine right now. May have cut out briefly, but it did appear like he was waiting for that optimum moment to take off and get some laps in. And right now that is paying dividends. But he's actually gaining on a car in front of him a little bit. So it could backfire on him, but as long as he can nail those 5 laps or not get held up here, he should be just about okay. This is the bright green car in the middle of the track right now. If you're watching in the venue, so if you're watching our online pictures at RC Racing TV, you'll see him right in the middle of the shot. He had to take a little bit of evasive action there, just a little bit. And it's the tiniest reflex, the tiniest twitch on the steering wheel controller. And he moves through some more traffic there. The reaction times are absolutely incredible. It's like the time it takes to switch a light on. In fact, he's had to let that car back through, ran wide out of corner, had to give the position back. There's a lot of give and take in these early sessions. As I say, you're about to qualify. The serious business starts tomorrow. That's where you're going to be defending every piece of turf, every stretch of carpet out here on the track for your very life, as if your lives depended on it. But for now, you are there getting in your laps and locking in as much as you can, as there's other guys lining up. And it's interesting as well to see how many competitors are down here. Our online viewers are seeing the track itself. You'll also see some of the punters in the background watching it here in the arena in the Centre MK. It's also interesting to see how many guys down to the right of me on this rostrum and down in the pit area have come trackside to watch. Now, it may just be because they're RC racing fans and, hey, they can't help themselves. Any RC racing is good by them. But also, I think a lot of them are out there watching to see if there's anything they can learn, any tricks they can crib from their rivals, and the sheer pace of them. What is their opposition up to? What are the guys doing? What can we do differently? What can we do to change things up? So that's the first of our 3 Reedy LMP1 class qualifying sessions done. And that was the very start of it. In the second and third sessions, we'll have the likes of Daniel Sieber, Alex Hagberg, who I explained is the reigning EFRA 1/12 electric modified European champion, having won that tournament back-to-back in 2014 and 15. He's also a reigning EFRA 1/10 electric touring car European champion and a former IFMAR 1/10 IC track world champion. Now, for the uninitiated, IC means internal combustion, so most likely that was nitromethanol burning cars. And as I say, those cars, if you've heard them before, you'll know exactly what I mean. They scream like nothing you have ever heard in racing. They are incredible machines. As the competitors lining up on the stand now, including Mr. Styles. He's up there as well. This is his class. This is what he's been preparing for. He and the rest of his competitors. The tension really is on. And it's interesting, we were talking about factory drivers, the amount of sponsor apparel and gear representing up on the stand. That is not just because they're fans of those companies. That's because they're there to represent, and winning is the only acceptable outcome for them.
Getting the right mindset, we will not accept pushing people off here.
So then, waiting for the countdown for this heat of qualifying to commence. may look like a heads-up race, but there'll be heads-up starts tomorrow when the competition begins in earnest. But for these qualifying sessions, these are more practice starts to get their technique down.
To the end of the race, wait for race over to be called before you attempt
10
to leave the
seconds.
rostrum.
Clear the grid.
10-second countdown on. Here we go.
Any penalty you may receive,
Stand by your beds, folks.
take it in the penalty box.
It's about to get very serious.
The circuit.
And away they go. Tear straight into turns 1 and 2. You see how quickly they compress in those initial corners. You fan out as wide as possible down the straight, but you've got to get it sorted somehow as they come into these corners. They quickly settle into a big sort of snake-like line as they filter through the corners, nose to tail almost. A bit of dicing in the field. They come through. They're pretty much in number order so far. So the number 1, Matthew White, leads them so far. And look how close these guys are. This is absolutely incredible. There is no room for error. And an error has just been made. A very spectacular error that was as well by, I want to say that was the number 5 car of Alex Hagberg, but I could be wrong on that one. It was a blur as it flew past me, back up to racing speed, very much so. Yes, I think it was the 5 of Hagberg. I think I've given him commentary curse already. Very unfortunate. But generally, people don't believe me when I say there is such a thing as a commentary curse. Don't be silly. Things that a commentator says can't affect things that happen. You ever watched Formula 1 when Murray Walker was commentating on it? Come on. That guy could have the outcome to change races in one go, just with something he'd say off the cuff. Oh, another big wipeout down here. This is down in the staging area. That's Hagberg again. The number 5 green and white car. Viewers on the online stream, that was just out of shot for you guys. But that's a second instant for him. Pushing a little bit too hard, maybe? Looking for a little bit of a setup gain? Who knows? As we say, this is the first of 2 rounds of qualifying, remember? So, things don't go to plan here. You can have a second bite at the cherry, and your best of the scores, best 5 consecutive laps, will be the ones that go forward to siege your positions for tomorrow. Right now, the lead of that order, that's the number 7 car who we've got on screen right now on the RC Racing Network. That is Mark Stiles himself, the man we've had up here speaking to us on this podium already, to our online viewers and fans in the arena. He's explaining every tip and trick and what these drivers will be expected to do, and now he's backing it up in very fine form in that all-white number 7 car. Now, mechanically, or at least in terms of frequency, they're all fairly identical, they're fairly similar, but they're all running fairly different chassis. The bodies themselves have to conform to a certain size and shape as set down in the rules and regulations for this tournament. They're all very similar. They'll have different decals on them, but they are effectively silhouettes with that low nose swooping up to that dramatic high rear end. Some of them with a gurney flap on them that can be adjusted for further downforce. The airflow over the car pushing it down and gripping. And you may say, one of the people out here, if you're new to RC racing, you may think, airflow over the car? Downforce at that speed? Really? Yes, really, really. As we are focused on Hagberg's car on the feed again. Looks like that thing is running very smoothly now. A little bit of an oversteer at the final corner and a little snap slide there. Stylishly gathered up. It's almost like the RC race equivalent of no one saw that. It's okay, we're good. Still very aggressive, incredibly aggressive, looking to take as much length out of the corners. Flash round as he sweeps by one of the other cars out there. Looking for those fast laps, looking for that consistency, looking for that speed and excellence across a 5-lap run. It's absolutely vital. Remember, those early crashes can come to naught. And now he's able to string together 5 consecutive laps par excellence. So it will matter not a jot. It's like a sweeping down the front straight. It literally is almost too fast for the eyes to handle, and for lesser cameramen to handle as well. For our RC Racing TV stream, myself, Adam Johnson, and the RC Racing TV team bringing exclusive live coverage of this Reedy 1/12 Race of Champions. Commentary going out into the arena, as well as on the live stream, going out across the world. Another one of an instant, but that was one caught up with another car out there. Very difficult, and another spin as well. So there's some frustration there, perhaps. just not able to get those laps together. Maybe this is what Mark was talking about earlier. Maybe it's about that consistency. Maybe it's about having that set up right there on the line between undrivable and consistent. You want it to be the fastest it could possibly be, of course. Another half slide of that hairpin. Just looks to me that car's sliding the rear just a little bit too much. Comes to the corners, just trying to push on, although sometimes it can be the very opposite. Sometimes if the car's understeering out of the corners and pushing out, you give it so much turning input that it actually starts to slide the rear end and translates into oversteer. So maybe that's what's also happening, but certainly Hagberg's car looks incredibly hung out in the weeds right now. It's almost like watching Marc Marquez ride a MotoGP bike on the absolute ragged edge, and it's win or bust stuff. And that outlook for Hagberg is what has won him so many championships, 4 in the last 3 years or 2 years of world and European RC racing competition. And it's no record to be sniffed at, unless maybe if you're David Spashit. As we watch these cars continue to circulate, for our online viewers, I should remind you, we're not getting much in the way of timing up on our screens here in the Crow's Nest. But we are getting to you information on the drivers. I can tell you with my own eyes the runners and riders in here and who's quick and who isn't. But we will look to get that coverage rectified for you. We've got full coverage for you. Excellent graphics. And an excellent caliber of driver in front of you. Welcome to all our viewers around the world, of which there are many. And I'm sure James at some point will be interjecting with comments from the live stream and the feedback. So, in fact, now might be as good a time as any to do exactly that, as this heat comes to a close.
What if I don't want to? What if I'm not ready?
Keep them to the in front of me for a second.
Hello everyone. We are RC Racing. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat.
Track get clear.
Let's start that again. Hello everyone, we are RC Racing TV. We are live from Centre MK in Milton Keynes, bringing you the Reedy 112 Race of Champions. It's a 3-day event. We are, I can hear you. We are here for all 3 days, here till Sunday evening, bringing you all the action live over, we stream live over YouTube. I guess you've already worked that out, seen us. You can hear me now, and that's where we're streaming from. Thank you to Reedy for inviting us along. Of course, the race is in association with the BRCA, and thank you to sponsors Protoform and Zen Racing. Don't forget, if you've not, I don't know why you wouldn't have already, but if you haven't been over and liked our new Facebook page, do head over there. I can't stress this enough. All of our future stream information and news will only be going out on the Facebook page and not the group. We are, however, leaving the group open for you to chat, to brag, to share your RC racing stories or pictures, and however you see fit. So do head over there, give us a like. We know there's still quite a few people that haven't liked our page yet, but are members of our group. So we know you're out there, so do head over. Yeah, I've done that thing where all of a sudden I've run out of things to say. Have I covered everything? You can talk, Adam.
Can I?
Yeah. Huh. It would just sound a bit weird because the audience here at Centre MK will only be getting your side of the conversation. I wonder what I can say to make it even weirder so they only hear your side. I'll work on that for tomorrow. Race is about to start. I'll hand you back over to the capable hands of Adam Johnson.
I don't like it when James Parry has that look. He knows I'm on the PA at all times. He's going straight through the stream commentary, so...
Did you hear the consensus of common sense off the roster room? I'm amazed.
So we're ready.
Ready when you are.
Either way, for the final heat, the first round of qualifying. Here for the Reedy 112th Race of Champions. In this heat, included the likes of Marcus Mobers, a champion from 2001, 2013 and 2014, a span of championships,
10 seconds.
a gap between them,
Clear the grid.
unparalleled. Some magnificent talent in this field. The 10-second warning sounds. Here we go. Heads up, winner takes all. We are underway as they go flying into those first few corners. I was just about to say they were keeping it clean, and then they didn't. But it's inevitable when you've got this huge amount of cars and drivers flying in there. We have an early penalty. The number 4, the pink car of Mick Farrell, has an early visit to the penalty box. He's the guy punished out of those early riders. And again, more contact down here in the chicanes. So going round. Car's actually stuck under the barriers in the middle section there. You just saw the marshal there on the online feed retrieve a car from under the barriers. These RC cars can find all manner of places to be out on the track, be it within track limits or not, or even in the limits of this venue, as we see one car slowing come through the chicane at the far end there. That is, now which car is that? That is the, I want to say that's the number 2 of Scott Booth, who is just trying to get a bit of a clean lap in. Clean 5 laps, I should say, because of course it's all about the 5 consecutive fast laps. That is all important. And that's a perfect strategy to employ. Just flash through the back of shot there on the online feed. We are watching right now on the online feed a pink and yellow car, and I have to get an ID on the number for you. Squinting to try and get a glimpse of the number there, incredibly quick. I want to say that's the number 6 of Tota Ebukuro, but I might be wrong on that one. This sweeps round. We've had an incident down here in the hairpins. Marshall's just retrieving it. That was the number 2 of Scott Booth again. And the strategy of holding back some laps didn't quite work out there, but as I say, this isn't quite a mulligan. You do get an advantage out of qualifying strongly out of these things, but you want to be on the pace early, because you know that if your competitors have an advantage, they're going to utilize that and profit for all it's worth. Oh, goodness me. What a big shunt as they come down through the final hairpins. That's the pink number 4 car, Mick Farrell. He's had a second off through there. Big shunt. If you're going to have a crash, do it in style. Don't just spin out, clear the walls. Why not? Head up towards the fence where the public are stood. If you're going to do it in style. And he'd rather not do it in style right now. He'd rather do it with speed. And some good words from our referee race director there. Just advising drivers when there's faster cars coming up behind them. Let them give way. And some praise when they do. It's all about good racecraft here. As I say, there's no need to defend your position that hard. They're not racing for position. They're racing against the clock right now. And so good racecraft is encouraged and advised. It's all in the spirit of this event. It is fiercely competitive, but also the amount of goodwill.
3 minutes, 6, 1, 7, 5, 3, 4, 2.
The amount of goodwill and team spirit out there is absolutely unmatched. Now, obviously, we're not getting as much timing up here on our crow's nest, and I can tell you, just heard over the intercom, obviously in the arena, you'll hear the same, that Ebukuro in the number 6 is leading. That's the pink and yellow car that's on your screens right now. No wonder he's leading. No wonder I couldn't see what number was on the side of his car. He's going that quickly. He is leading right now. Marcus Mobers is 2nd. Andy Murray 3rd. Chris Kurzweil 4th. And Mick Farrell still having some problems with the car at the far end, but we are following, for our online viewers on the feed, we are following Ebukuro.
So he
comes swarming through and round. If you're out in the arena here, Ebukuro is just coming through the centre of the track now. He's the pink and yellow car. Right in the centre there now, into the final hairpins. Through 16 and 17 and back onto the main straight at absolute top speed. He's coming up behind Farrell's car, in fact. Farrell probably should let him through in a few corners' time. Won't want to. Oh, dear. And I think that was purely an accident. Got loose on the racing line. Oversteering on the racing line. And ended up getting in the way of Ebukuro. No harm, no foul in that. Ebukuro keeps on trucking at a fearsome pace. This is the cream of the crop out here, ladies and gentlemen. These drivers here are among the fastest you'll see all weekend in this event. Whether you're watching in the arena or on our exclusive live pictures online on RC Racing TV. Farrell has another shunt at the far end here, wiping out the wall for the penalty box. If anyone does get a penalty at this point, though, just as I say that, the marshal has actually fixed the barrier down at the penalty box. I was about to say, if anyone does get a penalty, they won't be able to actually enter the penalty box itself. Farrell again. Has he just got something against that wall down there? Has it just said something rude about his parents? I don't know. This is about the third or fourth time he's hit it in this race, in this qualifying session. But, obviously some tweaks to be made between now and the second timed practice qualifying session. But no such adjustments needed for Epicuro. And there's a good reason why our cameraman has followed him almost exclusively on the online feed. It's because he's laying down a demonstration, an exhibition on how to lap this Reedy Race of Champions circuit, this 17-turn circuit. So we fly around, give you a brief track guide live in the flesh. Here we go. Onto the front straight. On the speed. Turns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Almost too fast for me to count. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 3 hairpins, 16, 17, and you can breathe. In fact, you can't because you're going into another lap straight away. You can't pause for breath with these guys out here. It's phenomenal skill and speed and reactions.
Finished. 3 finished.
Of course, you're finished. You can pull straight to the end of the pit lane, but do not leave the rush until it calls race over, please.
6
That's the end of the heat.
7 finished.
And that is the end of that heat. And with that, we conclude the first round of qualifying proper. And it'll be very interesting to see how they all stack up after all that. Not only in the open classes where they'll be looking to be in that top 30.
Practice 10.
My apologies then, viewers. I haven't actually updated our...
To make
I've still got practice on the screen.
LMP2 class be in that top 30. But also for the invitationals to fire the first warning shots, the first significant shots of the weekend, and be on maximum pace right from the off.
For these other cars to be collected before you set off.
Okay, so whilst Adam rests his voice, just take a few moments just to give a few shout-outs for people that are still with us in the YouTube chat. James Healy, hello. I remember James from last season and possibly the season before. He always is in our chat rooms whilst we are there YouTubing. Hello, James, welcome along. Micro Groover, hello to you as well. Jan Scale Modelling, lots of people here in the YouTube chat box. I can see Adam is staring at something on the ground. What's Adam? Oh no, it's okay. His timing's on the floor. That's why. I thought he was admiring the grain in the wood. Maybe I wasn't quite sure.
Okay, if you drive across the loop, please.
Let's have a look here. Felix Rigby. Hello, Felix. Thank you for joining us. Hayes Racing 44. Hello. All these people are chatting away like crazy in our YouTube Facebook chat group. What is that? That's not even a real thing. Our YouTube chat area, let's call it. Who else? We've got Ian, MTB. Hello to you all. Adam is indeed resting his voice. He's been talking now for a number of hours. So you have me for the next few moments. We don't actually know where he's gone. Maybe he's gone for a natural break, as Nick calls them. Who knows? We are RC Racing TV. We are live from Centre MK Shopping Centre in Milton Keynes, United Kingdom. We are here bringing you coverage of the Reedy 112th Race of Champions. And we're here, of course, because of the BRCA. And thank you to the sponsors Reedy, Protoform and Zen Racing. If you haven't already done so, head over to Facebook. Head over to www.facebook.com and /RC Racing TV. We have a new page, people. I'm trying to stress it to everybody. All of the future information of these events will be going out on the page, not on the group anymore, but for the short-term future I will keep reminding the members of the group. Adam's back. I don't know where he went. He touched his nose. No, that's not a clue to where he's been. No, you were just scratching your nose. He's like, is it John McCormack? What's his name? John McCormack. What's the horse race? I don't know. He's waving at me. I think he just wants to talk again. So with no further delay, Adam Johnson.
I do indeed want to talk again, James. What I do, I'm a commentator. You can't stop me.
Tell me about it.
I do have some results as we head into the second and final round of qualifying. And the guys out on track right now have their results from the first round. Down in the crib sheets, James on the online stream asked where on earth I'd been. I can tell you. It was down on the notice board, down in the pits, where the timing results from the first round of qualifying were displayed. And for the guys out on the track right now, This was how they finished the first round of qualifying. This is how it went down for them. Lee Palmer in the number 2. One out ahead of Damien Giddings in the number 10. Giles Hodgkinson in the number 7. And Ingo Oretz in number 5. Lee Ellis, number 6. Mark Barford in 6th. 7th for Chris House. 8th for Gavin Rice. 9th for Uwe Sieber. And 10th for Sasha Freitag. So that is how they finished at the end of the first round. And this is the heat. The heat you've just heard the results for are back out on track for their second tilt. Now remember, this will be their last shot at qualifying. This is the last round of practice they'll have out here, with the last 2 rounds timed. So this will be their last shot to improve. For some of those guys at the bottom end of that table, this will be their chance to improve. The guys at the top, this will be a chance to make a second statement of intent and really lock themselves in to that top 30 position. And it's interesting to start comparing the times across each division, obviously where they're going to be looking to qualify into that top 30. In this one, maybe not so much, but everyone will feel like they have a chance to break out. Everyone will feel like they have the potential to go further and to go faster than ever. It's the competitive spirit, and it burns pretty much in all of us to some degree or another. As on our online pictures, we are focusing on the number 2 car, who was fastest in the first heat. That's Lee Palmer. And once again, laying down a demonstration. I mean, it shouldn't surprise you. In that last heat we saw, in the Invitationals, we saw Toto Ebukuro. He's fast at half distance, and boy did he look quick. No surprise then, he won that session very well and takes the early lead there. But right now, it's Lee Palmer doing the business here in this heat. Now remember, he's not just looking for a fast lap for this heat, and for seeding purposes, he's looking for a slot in that elusive top 30 to move through, to move up to the top level. The nice thing about this event is that even those 40 cars that do not make it through into LMP2 status, they still get to race, they still have LMP3 to deal with, or to compete in, I should say. But if you can make it into LMP2, what a statement of intent that is. That is a statement that you are here, and you mean business. You're here to play with the biggest and the best in RC racing around the world. That's exactly what Palmer is trying to do. There is a car in the pits down on the back side here that hasn't quite worked out. There it is. Now, what car is that? That is difficult to identify from both of our positions here, either on the crow's nest with my eyes or with the camera on the live feed. I'm not entirely sure who that is. We'll have to get that one confirmed for you.
Sorry, Adam, every time you call it the crow's nest, I just kind of have a vision of you on some kind of pirate ship. Where's your parrot? Just whilst I've broken the commentary for a second, I wanted to add something because we have a member in the YouTube chat that I just want to quickly talk about for a second. This gentleman's name, could be a lady, but no, I think it's gentleman. Reno. Hi, Reno. I missed you on the shout out. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words about how much you love this channel. But he says here, I missed the comic videos you guys did a while ago. I just wanted to address Reno in person and say that I think the reason for that was slightly before my time of being on the RC Racing TV team, but back in the day before we had the technology and the connection to live stream these events to you over YouTube as they happened, the RC Racing TV members at the time used to have to do things slightly differently. So they used to go and record events and races and different pieces from the track in the daytime. They would then give up their evening to edit the videos and then upload those videos offline, obviously not live, to YouTube for you to view the next day. And obviously doing it that way meant that they had more time to do the comic videos, as you call them. I hope that, although Adam is a very good commentator, I hope that I now provide that comic injection. Maybe not, who knows. But that, Reno, is why we don't have those videos anymore, simply because we are live streaming all day throughout the events. Hope that answers your question. Yeah, that's all I've got to say on the matter. I just wanted to say that whilst I knew he was online listening to us and before I forgot about it. Sorry to interrupt.
And just as we come back on the live stream from James' comments there on the stream, we see Lee Palmer in the number 2, upside down, previous pace setter in this class, and he's now charging back through in a bit more contact. This session can be spiralling downhill very quickly. I'm at a rate of knots, and speaking of spiralling downhill, We've had a car, that was the number 9, I think it was, go flying over the pit barriers there. There it is. There's the penalty box. The number 3 has already stopped, and in fact, that is the end of the session. That is the end of that first heat. So, we'll get the results to you as quickly as we can.
Finished.
And I wonder if those instants there at the end affected Lee Palmer's rhythm, whether he had already registered 5 consecutive strong laps, or whether those laps from earlier were enough to already see him through and be strong enough. But right now, the second group will head out. It's the second open class group. And they will roll out as follows.
Going to give Adam another chance to rest his voice. I just realised having this new Facebook page means that we miss out on one of our traditions that we've done live on air. For years now we've done this tradition, and this now in year 3 or 4 of being live, I don't know. It's got, and that tradition, ladies and gentlemen, is giving people live shout-outs on air. The way it works with a group, you see, is you would have to apply to be a member of the group, and then we could, as we approved your request, we were able to say hello live on air. But having a page, it's kind of more difficult because Facebook in their infinite wisdom just groups people together saying that you've liked it. So I don't actually see who's just liked it. I can just see, for instance, that Joseph Keaveney, Richard Wheeler and 45 others like RCTV in that wave of likes. So I will try and grab those likes as they happen, but it's very difficult for me to see that. So my apologies if I'm not giving you live shout-outs. If you've liked the page and you want a live shout-out, head over to YouTube. Pop a comment in the side. I will do my very best to keep an eye out for you and give you that shout-out. Jan Scale Modelling back in 30 minutes. Make sure you do. I'll be waiting for you. James Dalbney, who will win? Don't know. Just don't know. You'll have to stay tuned and find out. 2 days left. I think we are on for about another... What time do we finish tonight? Hang on, I've got to count fingers. 5, 6, 7, 8. We're here till 8 p.m. It's 6:45. That means, through the power of mathematics, that's an hour and 15 minutes left. And then we will be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. right the way through to 8 p.m. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow is an 11-hour stream, a monster mega stream, if you will, and we'll be here all day bringing you the action. But for now, back over to the Crow's Nest, Adam Johnson.
Back up to the Crow's Nest indeed, as we're getting ready for the second group. Cars to head out for their second and final round of time practice qualifying. I have their results from the first round right here.
4, 8, 7, 6, 10, 9, 2.
So they roll away, and we have one car that initially didn't go anywhere, and then did very quickly. So I wonder if that was a little bit more of a strategic play. But I do have the results from the first round of this group. Stefan Fiorini was the fastest, ahead of Ross Giles. Matthias Herntrick. Fiorini was in the number 3 car. Giles in the 5. Matthias Herntrick in the number 1. Mark Passingham in the number 4. His 4th, Robin Streeter 5th in the number 8. Simon Cleaver 6th in the number 7. And Andrew Hicklin 7th in the number 6. John Clark 8th. Gary Deering and Paul Weilau did not start that first session, so that was the car that paused a little bit on the start. Got going again. And I do see it out there now, so technical problems not impeding it. Fiorini is the car that, if you're watching on the live stream, is right in the middle of your shot right now. That spectacular green and white looking car, and that green has a slight metallic effect to it under the lights here in the centre MK, in the centre of this venue. And it looks like he's picking off exactly where he left off in the first round of qualifying. What did I tell you about that commentary curse, ladies and gentlemen? Seriously. I said something nice about him, and within 3 corners he's wrecked it, and hopefully that's not disrupted his rhythm too much. He'll get back on with it in due course. Exactly what he is doing. You see, as he comes round here, the flow and the technique of these tracks, how it's like a 3D mathematics puzzle. You have to string each corner together and be thinking several corners in advance. You take one, then the next, then the next. And that was well navigated whilst barrier movements were being made, barrier repairs being made. It's well saved there, but sometimes, as you can see, it's very easy to turn in just a smidge too early. And by smidge, I really do mean smidge. That's the technical term. And how easy it is to clip that apex exactly right, or miss it by about Rotherham, or hit the wall on the inside and really do a lot of damage to your lap time and your chances. But Fiorini at the moment is stringing together some very nice laps in there. Now closest to him is the white and red car. Don't ask me to get a number for you just yet until it comes past the crow's nest. Here we go. Through. I want to say that's the number 4. Yes, it is. It's number 4.
That's the one, is it?
There's the number 4 car right in the middle of your shot. You're watching online. That is the... Get to him in a minute.
Race order after 3 minutes.
The number 4, Mark
3,
Passingham, who was 4th in the first heat.
5, 7,
So,
6,
he's looking to improve in this one, get
10,
into the top 3.
9,
Remember, these guys aren't just looking for fast laps, they are looking for best average lap. And they are looking to be able to break out from their class and get themselves in to the LMP2 category, get up into that top 30 for tomorrow and through the weekend. They won't want to be stuck in the doldrums if they can help it. So if they can break out and achieve that vital top 30 place, that's exactly what they're going to go for. He comes through right now with the final hairpin and up the main straight, right in the middle of our camera feed, watching online on RC Racing TV. Our pictures and words provided to you, supported, powered, if you will, by Reedy Race Engines, Protoform Race Bodies, Zen Racing, and the British Radio Car Association. The guys putting on this show out here today. Passingham is coming up behind the yellow and orange car of... Ooh! That was an attempt to get out of the way of Passingham as well, but it didn't quite work. No harm, I don't think any foul. I think it just ran wide and then converged back on the racing apex. That time, the attempt at letting through worked a bit better. And in fact, look not far behind these guys and the car that has just let through Passingham. In fact, the car that was already passed, a little bit of an instant there, and straight through, I was just about to mention him, is Fiorini. And look at this car. It is absolutely picture perfect precision. Going around the laps, clocking them off one by one by one by one by one, which makes 5, which is the 5 consecutive laps that you need out here to prevail in qualifying. As he comes storming through, that car is distinctive enough. Pick up easily on our cameras, even at such high speed. It's a bit like Epicuro's car. Distinctive, bright, colourful, and a good thing too, because it's almost quicker than the eyes can catch. It's coming up now behind the number 5 red and white spoof Marlboro liveried car. That is the number 5 of... Just a second for you. Give me just a second here. Get his name up. I'm being shouted the name out by James Parry. That's Russ Giles, yes. Actually, it was one of the marshals that informed me of that information. Thank you very much. Russ Giles. Got so much reference material up here. Hard to know where to look. But in the time I've been looking for that name, look how much Fiorini's improved. He's passed him and a bunch of other cars. Fiorini is on an absolute flex. And that is the second and final round for this Class 2, or Field 2.
Finished.
That's their qualifying done. And I don't think there's much more Fiorini could have done there to achieve maximum qualifying pace.
10 finished. 5 finished.
As the cars head back to their pit bunkers. That'll be their work done for today. They'll be able to retire to the bunkers and get working on any adjustments that need to be made overnight. As we head out, we get ready for the third group of runners.
Have a message here from Micro Groover 29. Hey, does Mr. Commentator race, or is he always commentating? No, he is just a commentator. How do we do this without the audience hearing you? We'll have to try and work out a way. But no, this is Adam Johnson. He doesn't race. He does other things as well. I was going to say he's a member of, but no, he runs Team Bomber Sports. I'm going to look for the nods right now. Obviously YouTube channel, Team Bomber Sports. Facebook group. Facebook page. Yes, I'm just getting thumbs up and thumbs down. Instagram. Is it Team Bomber 24 or just Team Bomber? How do you sell yourself? Team Bomber? Team Bomber 24.
Darren's left cheek moves.
No, I'm just getting... I'll let Adam somehow... hang on. There you go.
There we go, finally. I've been muted. I'm back on the feed. We're trying to work out a way. The problem is we're trying to work out a way for me and James to interact without the entire audience hearing on the PA. But no, I'm well aware, James, you can hear me right now. But yes, I like the fact I didn't even start that plug. The shameless plug was not even instigated by me. I like that. But yes, Adam_Bomber Sports on Instagram, AJ_Bomber Sports on Twitter, Team Bomber Sports on YouTube, Bring the Noise, etc.
Bring the Noise, etc. Yes, indeed. Yes, Adam is a commentator, motor journalist, etc., etc. Very good commentator as well. I don't know how these commentators do it. I'm just a techie person, but these commentators can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. They do indeed. I'm just looking to see if there's any more shout-outs. Give Adam a quick rest on his voice. Lots of people here say, I'm French. Hello, French. I'm Swedish Go Hagberg. Well, hello, Swedish Go Hagberg. Thanks for joining us. Have you ever done it live on oval tracks? Can't say I have, but it's the first time for everything. So, with no further... Sorry, Paul just turned around and pulled a face that's just made me laugh. My apologies. How unprofessional. Anyway, without further ado, back over to the Crow's Nest. Adam Johnson, Team Bomber Sports.
Bring the Noise, etc.
Bring the Noise, etc.
We're a very professional outfit up here with RC Racing TV. Thank you very much. We're enjoying some interaction up here on the stream. Obviously, you're on the stream, you'll hear all the words. In the arena, you'll hear mine, which makes the conversation slightly one-sided, but it's probably for the best in that respect. We have a little bit of a technical delay.
So if you should be going on racing after this heat, you should
be waiting for the next group to come out. This will be Group 3, waiting for their second and final round of qualifying. They're all lined up just about on the start line, on the control line. There are 10 groups total. Remember the top 3. The last 3 you will see out here are the ones for the Reedy Invitational class. The very best of the best in RC racing. As we see down in the pits, incredible flurry of activity. It never stops. There are always people working here. I'm convinced they just don't sleep.
For 1 minute there, I thought Chris Hardesty was giving CPR there to the corner, but no, I think he was just trying to plump the foam pad that they have over there. I wasn't quite sure what he was doing. No, there's still a technical delay. He's not happy with that corner. No. Still a delay. Does anybody know what's... There we are on the screen. That is Chris Hardesty from the BRCA. If this were finals day, I'd be over there to find out exactly what's going on. But
in race control.
Ooh.
Nods.
Chris is interviewing children at the side of the track.
They've impromptu vox pop over there.
We're watching those gentlemen behind that screen looking very concerned. And then
hit things with spanners, that works.
And when trying to fill for time, interview the audience. I feel like he's very tense right now at the moment.
which car's going to win?
Silver.
What's the silver one?
Are we having a minute's silence? No? No.
Ever so pretty in that beanie hat you are. It's the offset of the white headphones as well.
I'm now getting abuse from the race director from across the track. I can hear him,
Just
but he
curious
can't
as to what
hear
the
me.
fans out there are answering. The vox pop is going on over there.
Oh, full start.
Oh, someone's got bored.
A surprise start.
Decided to escape.
We're apologising about this, but we did get
Oh,
positive
ooh,
signs
you
in
saw the
race
cap.
control earlier.
He takes a right.
It's a
He
little bit
takes
of
a
technical
left.
delay happening over in race control.
He circles round.
The technical gurus are hitting things with spanners. That's normally our way of fixing things, and it works. It's tried and tested.
No Gareth Strokes in keyboard.
Well, the miscreant is back in line. Number 8 car. I'll do a bit of showing off, I think. If you're listening to us, watching us on the live stream on RC Racing TV, which is having a bit of a pause for some issues down in race control, some tech issues. So we'll be back up to racing very shortly, I'm sure. Meanwhile, a wild James Parry appeared. It used iPhone. It was super effective, apparently. That is our resident director and tech guy. He's the other voice you'll hear on the mic.
I hope I wasn't flashing anyone. I realised as I bent down that the camera was probably going to be on me.
5,
Was I decent?
9,
Oh,
6,
great.
4, 8.
There was
3,
no builder's bomb. There may have been a director's bomb though. Who knows?
10 seconds.
And we have a fix. Here we go. No more light relief or lame attempts at comedy. It is time.
Well, we'll have no light relief on this track, please, Adam. Thank you.
5, 2, 1, 9, 6, 10, 4, 8, 3, 7.
So this is Group 3, out on track right now, and they are out on track after a brief technical delay there. Good to have them back out there. And their results from the first round go as follows. Darren Lee in the number 5
Finally underway.
is your leader.
You should be looking to get
Was your leader after the first round. Our rebel was Boyd Trataki, who was the one who escaped there in the early session. He finished 8th in the number 8 earlier. But the top 3 were Darren Lee, number 5, Rob Warren in the number 2, and Jamie Patton in the number 1. So those are your ones to watch here, as well as Matt Baker in the number 9 and Graham Baker in the number 6, and Huber in the number 10. Those are your guys 4 through 6th, and those will be the ones looking to improve. Step on as they go side by side with the hairpin. More high-stepping action for the marshals. Anyone who says fitness, well, this isn't a fitness-based sport. Never seen our marshals out here today. That is number 5 in our shot right now. Darren Lee, the leader after round 1. They'll be looking to still be the leader after round 2. And crucially, get up into those qualifying positions for the LMP2 runners. That'll be his big aim right now. He slides through the traffic. Oh, bumper to bumper, wheel to wheel. Oh, that was a bit too close for comfort. A bit too much too much contact. Maybe some frustration there. And I thought for a second there was a little bit of damage there. Wasn't quite, but it, I think, was just letting all that madhouse get out of his way. So he has a chance to come back through on a flyer with less impediment. He clears traffic very well that time. That's the key for good qualifying runs, I should say. Let me just put my teeth back in. That is the key to good qualifying runs here, where you have a consecutive 5-lap average It's all about getting 5 clean laps in the books, and it's very difficult to get one in one-shot qualifying sessions, let alone 5 back-to-back. So the ability to navigate traffic and the track itself is a very tough one. And there might be a little bit of tension for Darren Lee right now. He's slowing again. Look at this. Slowing, weaving, weaving, and now back up to speed. So that car is back up to speed now. So a deliberate tactical move there to get some space in front of him to start those laps. Very good move there, very tactical. It's a bit like what we saw Jason Plato do a lot of times in the British Touring Car Championship last year, where if he qualified back in the field in the first race, he knew that the fastest lap in race 1 would give him pole for race 2, and that is something that he'd also have to deal with in British Touring Car Racing. And even then, when you hang back, look at that. Even then, when you hang back and hope to get some free space in front of you, it only takes a few guys to make some mistakes of their own, and straight away, you're back in the thick of it. There's no escape from it around here. You just cannot escape the madhouse. You're in it. You're stuck in the middle with you. So Lee continues, looking for some momentum now. Looking for some consistency, looking for some patterns. Everyone else is just looking for a clean race. So we're doing a bit of hurdling down here, right in front of the crow's nest here. Cars have recovered again. Lots of contact out there right now. Guys, this is only qualifying. You're racing properly tomorrow. That's when it's supposed to get a bit wild. Maybe they're clearing all this pent-up frustration out of their systems now. So we'll have a smooth and uneventful round of races tomorrow. Yeah, right. So Lee continues on. Trucking on, looking for a clean way through the traffic. Clearly, one of the fast guys out here. Fastest in the first session. That was almost excessive in the first corner there. Look at that, slicing through the traffic. Obviously some willing to give way, but at the same time, it's all about those reactions, looking for those moments, looking for the synergy, and that was great. More tight moves in tight spaces, barely losing a second, barely blinking. And again, this is precision RC driving right here, ladies and gentlemen. To keep these fast laps intact, even nailing it, no distraction. Other cars, marshals, damaged barriers, doesn't matter, not distracting him right now. Flying round. And continuing. Run's continuing right now. Got a minute to go in this session. And I think Darren Lee, so long as he's able to string those 5 laps together again, just as I say that, I'm scared to say anything positive at this point. But so long as he's able to string those 5 laps together again, he should be on for a good run through these qualifiers. And a good seeding for tomorrow, if not a potential slot in that top 30 in LMP2. He's right in the middle of his shot if you're watching online. And he's in the sort of middle section of the track right now if you're watching in the arena. Through the final hairpins now. Through. Here you go, you go string 1, 2, 3. Just so many. You lose track of the corners. You lose count of the corners almost immediately. But it's about stringing together that racing lap through all of them. And that rhythm is so important. That's why lap traffic and other cars around you can be so off-putting. It's because you've got a predetermined line through the corners. You've got a flow that you have to hit to. It's like a pattern in your head. If there's a car in front of you, I can screw that all up. As we just see a car wedged under the barriers there at the end of the session. That was the number 6. Number 6 car returns to the bunkers, along with everyone else. That's Group 3's second and final qualifying run done. Move on to Group 4. Hopefully,
Finished.
less of a technical issue in just a moment.
9 finished.
As the qualifying runs continue thick and fast here for the Reedy Race of Champions Day 1. The groundwork for potential tournament and championship glory are built and started right here, right now. And so the start will be all important as Group 4 get ready to line up on the track. Get ready to go.
Practice 3 open. Round 4 is over.
Round 4 getting ready. I think we've got a brief word from James as well, haven't we?
Track is very definitely closed at the moment.
No.
Repairs.
Drivers and marshals.
No, I'm not going to be cruel.
Practice 4 open.
That joke sold 2015. I won't do that this year. Thank you for joining us. We are RC Racing TV. We are in the Centre MK Shopping Centre in Milton Keynes in the United Kingdom, the UK, England, Great Britain, whatever you want to call it, we're here. We're here covering the Reedy 112th Race of Champions 2016. We're here thank you to Reedy, Protoform, Zen Racing, and of course the BRCA, the British Remote Control Car Association, who are the governing body here today. We follow, I think I need to clarify this, I think we follow their rules, or we adhere to their rules, whether we follow them or not, I don't know. If you haven't already and you watch us on YouTube, head over to the comments box down the right hand side, come and take part. Let's have your moment, get your voice heard. There's lots of people chatting in there, like Peanuts on MC, Adam Sec Brown, Microgroover 29 still with us, I think. He or she has been with us most of the afternoon. We have 52 minutes left of today's stream, and then we are back at 9 AM tomorrow morning. Don't forget, we have a new, I can't say this enough, so I'm going to keep saying it all weekend until we get lots more people that have liked it, but we have a new Facebook page, not the group. If you're already a member of the group, what I'm about to say definitely applies to you. We have a new page. A page is different from a group, and we need you to go and like that page. Not because we are like hungry monsters. No. It's because this is the way we are going to communicate to you over 2016, over the season. Obviously, we'll be heading out around Europe over the coming months throughout the summer. I think our next trip that we'll be covering is Slovakia in April. I think more details will follow on the Facebook page. How do you find it? www.facebook.com/RC Racing TV. Hit like and stay informed. You'll never miss another stream again. Rant over. Adam Johnson.
Yes, we're back to it. Our live coverage of the Reedy 112th Race of Champions. Going out across the arena. My voice will go out across the arena. We'll also be here in sound and vision on RC Racing TV as we get into the fourth round, or the fourth heat of round 4 of qualifying. This, of course, being the final round. And the results from the first round of qualifying for this group goes as follows. Ollie Payne in the number 9 was fastest, so he was just ahead of Kieran Manders in the number 6. Now these are going to be guys who are going to start getting towards that bracket of looking to jump into the top LMP2 class in the open category. So these are you guys we'll be watching out for. Kieran Manders, Elliot Cummings, Manders in the number 6, Cummings in the 7, Torsten Muller in the number 1 was 4th, Kellyanne Bly in the number 8 was 5th. So it's the number 9 of Ollie Payne we're watching out for. Where that car is, I haven't the foggiest, because these cars are flying around this track, this facility, such high speed. Now looking for a number 9 car. And I think it's just coming through the final corner now. I think it's the red and white machine. It's coming up towards turn 1. And it's coming around into the middle section now, towards the pit entry. And on the, if you're watching on the stream pictures, it's the car just in front of the one on the main shot right now. There it is. Oh, well it was, and now it's behind the car that was on the shot. It's coming through the first few corners now. I believe that is the number 9 of Ollie Payne. Unless I'm very much mistaken. No, that looks distinctively like a number 9 on the side of that car. Having to really peer. You get about 0.3 seconds of time to look at what number's on the car, and gone. Zip. It's just vanished. So, and with the speed that Payne's putting in, I'm not surprised it's particularly hard to read the numbers on the side of his car. He set a great pace in the first round of this heat, and he's looking to back that up, as many of them so far have. I'll just have a rundown and check on the winners so far of the heats and the lap times gone so far in round 4 of qualifying. See on the guys so far, and I'll be interested to see how many of the guys who topped their sessions in the first round have done the same so far for the second round of qualifying. My guess is that so far they are grand slamming the lot, they're sweeping it, because so far the momentum really has been on their side. It really looks to me like those guys have come flying out of the box quickly and have got their setups on point very quickly are the ones profiting and the ones making the early headway. And there's quite a few guys who are going to have to go back to the drawing board overnight and hope to bring something back in ready for tomorrow, because by tomorrow morning there will be no more chances. You've got to get your game face on and get busy. Oof, my word. Definite style points there for Crown. I think that was number 6, who was second in the first session. That's Kieran Manders. That was the white and green car who's coming through into the middle section of the track now. Coming through now into the final hairpins. Oh, and there's a little bit of a menagerie and menage a trois through there as well. So having a look more for some identification. Yes, there is another. It looks like there's 2 cars out there with a number 9. I can't. My eyes. I can't. If there's any of you out there watching this on the fence in the venue right now, wondering, wow, these cars are hard to keep up with, trust me, you're not the only ones. Even the pros are struggling out there. I'm being reliably informed that the car I was telling you earlier was the number 9 car. He's not. That was the orange car that was spotted. It's coming through our shot now. Our cameraman's got it. He's on the job. That is Ollie Payne's machine. The first one was the Imposter. So, speed in that machine, crucial. And look at that, once again, the crucial factor in moving through the traffic and slicing through, keeping that rhythm going, whilst avoiding crashed cars in that respect. There was a spun car there at the side of the road. Now looking to move through. Where does he make the move? Yes, very nice. Look at the reactions on that. Bloop, move aside, through, there you go. Clean as a whistle. Doesn't always go that smoothly and to plan, but when it does, there's a sort of art form and a joy to behold out of it, really. When it goes wrong, it can be even more spectacular, as we just saw a brief glimpse on the stream there, our footage. There was some of the padding coming away from the sides of the walls. You can see them there, those little semicircle. Ooh, that was so close. Payne went flying through there. There was a car spun in the chicane there on the back section of the circuit. And he just missed that stricken car by, what's smaller than millimetres? Micrometers? Micrometers. There you go. Thank you. Micrometers is what Payne missed that car by. I've been reliably informed. As he continues on, and we have 10 seconds to go. We're into the final 10 seconds of this session. So it's all about to come to a halt for these guys in terms of qualifying. These will be your last laps out here for today. Make them count, make them good, and make them good enough to hopefully get into the LMP2 category tomorrow morning. And I think he was just showing off at the end there. He's put in some fast laps already. Decided to end the session with a little bit of a stunt show. Why not? More strong laps by the look of it from Ollie Payne. Another good session from those guys. And is there a little bit of damage there on that car? Now that's interesting. Hopefully not too much. Hopefully it's just a trick of an eye. But as you can see there, very clearly, that's a bit rude. Ramming a pit lane. The session's over now. Come on. But that is very much the number 9 of Ollie Payne. We did finally get that car confirmed. And more seriously to go and find the one that I thought was the number 9 initially. Because it did look like there was a second car with a number 9 on it. It was very confusing. But anyway, that is the end of the 4th group, their second round of qualifying. I'm going to hand briefly back over to James whilst I go check the scores on the door so far in qualifying for the Reedy 112 Race of Champions.
So, ladies and gentlemen, over in the YouTube chat, Martin Owen, venue is looking amazing, almost as good as the Euros at Robin Hood. It is a great venue here. There are lots of volunteers and there's some great organisers. Yeah, it's a great venue, great surroundings. I like it because it's indoors and it's electric and not nitro, so it's dry and quiet. Those are my top reasons for liking this event, but obviously that's just me. What else is going on in the chat? Microgroover is still he is still here. Hello, Mr. Microgroover. I'll call you from now on. Don't forget, we're in Milton Keynes, United Kingdom, so you can either watch us online or if you live near Milton Keynes, come and visit us. It's not a closed event. We're in a shopping centre, very public. We're outside the front of, well, we're in between John Lewis and a big pantomime banner. That's the only way I can describe it. A shop called Tiger that seems to sell gym balls that you sit on, and dinosaur plant pots, maybe. I'm not quite sure. Here's Adam back. He's now standing in between the camera and the shop that I was talking about. There we go. He's going to move out the way now. No, he's still in the way. Go the other side. Go the other side. There we go. There's Tiger. We can see there that Tiger has a selection of goods. There we go. Adam presenting Tiger for us. But of course, more on topic there is a glimpse of the pits. Do a bit of a swing of the pits. Let's see what we can see down in the pits. Let's see if I can see anyone there. That I reckon. No, next table. I'm the other way. Oh, that was Mobus. Next table. No, keep going. Don't know anybody there. No, not there. See the back of Mick Farrell. James Stewart from HPI. I can see him. No, and then we get to Adam. So maybe we'll try and get a different camera angle for you tomorrow to have a bit of a glimpse, see what's going on down in the pits. We are RC Racing TV. We are here in the Centre MK Milton Keynes Shopping Centre. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to Reedy, 1/12 Racer Champions, for inviting us to cover this event for them. We're here until 5:30 p.m. on Sunday. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. We have 40 minutes left. There is a picture of a lady. We are videoing the lady who is videoing the race. Another person there. I think that was more of a picture rather than a video that time. That gentleman chose photo, the lady chose video. Whatever floats your boat. There's lots of people taking photos all of a sudden. I'm not sure if they're interested in the cars or the back of the Marshalls. Maybe there's a new craze there of people taking pictures of the back of Marshalls. It's a bit like planking. It's the new thing for 2016 apparently. Who knows? Anyway, I finished babbling. Over to the Crow's Nest, to Adam Johnson.
Thank you.
Of Bomber Sports. Team Bomber Sports.
James, I should hire you as my PR guy. Also, I was going to say, I think my audition for QVC went rather poorly, as you just saw there on the stream.
It was terrible, to be honest with you. I mean, the whole point of being a presenter on QVC is don't stand between the camera and the product.
Yeah, that's probably why I'm not working there anytime soon. Anyway, let's go back to the serious business, shall we? We're into Heat 5 of the second round of qualifying. And you know my prediction of saying that the fastest guys would sweep the 2 qualifying rounds? Completely wrong from what I've seen so far. In fact, in the first group, Martin Barford improved from 6th to win that session, and the winner of the first round there was 3rd. So, competition stepping up. It's to be expected, because obviously improvements made across the sessions. If somebody's struggled in the first, they'll generally look to have got better with practice they come through to the second session. Now, for this session, Heat 5 of round 4, the winner of this first group in round 3 was the number 8 of Tim Wood. Naoya Kitagawa in the number 5 was second, and third was Eugene Gallet in the number 10, ahead of Ashley Whiffin and Luke Burley. And Chris Ashton in 6th in the number 7 car. Surely not the Saracens Rugby Union winger. I wonder. Anyway, car we're looking for on our footage is Tim Wood. That is very much the number 5 of Naoya Kitagawa, who very kindly has stopped on track to give us time to identify the car. Very nice of you. Maybe worked out the problems we were having in the last session. But I think more than likely that car was looking to try and get some free space and look for those laps. And we'll shoot him to the top of this leaderboard and hopefully into top 30 contention. With all these cars, all these heats having 10 cars in, it's going to be heats 5, 6 and 7 who will be in the box seat, you think, for that qualification for the top 30 into LMP2. But having seen some of the quick guys before this, nothing is a given. So another car go flying off almost into the spectators. They really are getting closer to the action than even they could have anticipated. Now let's play Spot the Leader. This is going to be fun. Where is that number 8 car? It is absolutely flying. They're all flying around the track, it has to be said. There's some hairpins in the front of us in the crow's nest here, and even slowing for those hairpins, they're not really slowing down. I'm squinting. It's just not happening. Cameraman on the live feed. See the live pictures on RC Racing TV. He's trying as well. We're both sort of peering over the scaffolding here in the Crow's Nest to try and find the fastest man in the first session. Well, we might have an idea. Might have an idea. Maybe this pink car coming through, the white and pink car. I'm going to go with my cameraman's judgment there. Both sort of looking at each other. Is that him? I think so. Might be the 8 or the 9. I'm not entirely sure. That's the problem. I was off the Crow's Nest checking on the timing sheets down in the pits. Reliably informed by one of the marshals, it's the orange car. So look for that one, cameraman. It's coming through the first half of the course now. Into the centre there, bright orange car. You can't miss it, as long as you know that's the number 8. There he is. We found him. Took us long enough. Thanks very much for the tip-off from the marshal there. That is the number 8 of Tim Wood. Flying around at considerable pace. Looking to do the sweep of both qualifying rounds, something that has proven difficult to achieve so far, despite the relative pace of the guys who were faster in both sessions. Can Tim Wood do just that? If he does, it would really help cement his place in that top 30 for the LMP2 class. I'm just looking at the average lap times as they go through. You pretty much have to be in the average lap time 13-second bracket to make it through. That's how fast the lap goes by here. To put that into context for full-scale racing, there was a little bit of contact in a straight line there. That was, that's about as hold your breath as it gets. But just to put that into context, a 13-second lap round here is faster than a lot of road cars can travel a quarter of a mile. And this track is a lot more of a quarter of a mile in scale for them, in 1/12 scale. As Wood continues on, he's in the middle of a little bit of a sandwich here. A bit more of a contact. I've never seen a sandwich get that aggressive before. And that, I think, is the klaxon that concludes the session. And in fact, Tim Wood almost ended up literally breaking track limits. You'd think on a solid wall surface like this, that's not possible. In fact, it very much is. Very much is. So that will conclude that session. I'm just going to have a quick look down here on the walls down in the pits. Timing screen up in our bunker. Still not quite working. So I shall have a check. And here as we have a look. And I'll tell you what, there's a big crowd of drivers as well, also looking to consult the times here. And, well, I'll tell you what, my prediction about guys sweeping looks like it was half right. It's Stefan Fiorini and Darren Lee, quickest across both rounds, and incredibly strong overall, looking to add those early statements of intent. And I'm just going to have a look as well at where the average lap times are and where the strongest are, what they're going to be looking for. Yeah, it basically looks like the long and short of it is, if you want to get into that top LMP2 class, average under 14 seconds. Very, very least. Probably more than that, to be honest, with how competitive it is. And so the next field are coming out on track. I'll tell you what will probably be useful. Identify the cars when, you know, they're not going 800 scale miles an hour. So, here we go. This will be group number 6. They're out on the track right now, lining up for their tilt. Their second and last session of running.
Practice 6. Open. Round 4 will start.
And Matt Rice was your winner of that first round. Ahead of Patrick Bandiera and Stephen Rowley. Matt Rice in the number 1, Bandiera in the number 9, Rowley in the number 5 ahead of Peter Craig's number 2 and Vincent Formosa's number 8. So it is the number 1 of Matt Rice we are looking for here. That car is the white car in the middle of your shot there with green flashes on it.
1, 9, 5, 2, 8, 6, 3, 7, 10, 4.
So 1, 9, 5 and 2 are the cars you're watching there. First 4 as they head away. And as is stressed by the race director, it is your 5 best consecutive laps, back to back, that is what we are looking for here. Not one fast lap, and then a duff, then another fast lap, then a duff, then a duff, then another fast lap. It's about stringing that speed together into formidable consistency, which is what competitors trying to do. It's what Matt Rice is trying to do right now. So this is going to be incredibly close. As I say, two out of the first 4 heats so far have had repeat winners sweep both of them. The other two not so. You just didn't see what the result of the last heat was. We have a heat in progress right in front of us. Happening in sound and vision, both for the shoppers at the centre, MK, and for the viewers. Oof, big contact there in the final few corners. That was involving Matt Rice, our leader so far, and I think the other car in there was Patrick Bandiera. And again, Rice, look at this. Being tactical, being clever, being savvy. But again, as we've seen, trying to hold back to get some speed on these guys very rarely works, because there very rarely is any free space on this track, even with 10 cars on it. You think that's got to be plenty of room for all these cars. Pro tip, it isn't. Especially if someone in front of you makes a mistake, then suddenly they're right in your crosshairs. And in qualifying, you almost don't want them to be. In the race, yes, you do, because it means you're making up positions. But here, when you're looking for those fast laps, you don't want any interference. But the top guys so far have had an uncanny knack of getting the maximum speed out and not letting that flow be interrupted at all. It is quite something to behold. And it's using all of the track there, and some that maybe wasn't designated, but hey, he'll trash barriers if it needs to be. And again, look at that. Nice racing room given. Quarter asked and given there for once. As I say, this is qualifying. In the race, that quarter may not be asked and definitely won't be given. But Rice clocking some very solid laps right now. You can see the flow. Very smooth, very consistent. Exactly what you need. And in fact, that barrier at the end, at the hairpin, at the start of the main straight, is actually flicked out and could be causing a little bit of disruption there. Watch as he comes through this corner now. There he is. And you see that barrier sticking out there where he had some contact. Reminds me very much of a karting session me and a few friends of mine had the other day, where a kart has a wider rear end than the front. You inevitably go for a perfect apex and realise you're going to clip the tyre wall on the inside with the rear end of the kart. Quite a few times some barrier repairs had to happen. Hopefully not some bodywork repairs after that one. And more of the inside barriers being junked. Rice is clipping, is not so much clipping the apexes as shearing them.
10-3, leader on lap 13.
But it's exactly what he has to do. Bearing in mind, as I say, this is the group that are right in contention to qualify into that LMP2 bracket. The top 30 fastest guys in the open division will go through into LMP2, and the rest will be seeded into LMP3, which is of course not the end of the world. It still means you have 10 rounds of racing, but of course you want to better yourselves. You want to be in with the best category of racer. And these guys want to prove that they can roll with the guys above them. I'm hearing, I think, from the race director, a stop-and-go penalty being administered. That's for the number 9 car. Just out of our shot here on the RC Racing TV stream. We are still following on the cameras Matt Rice. He's flying around this track. A great flow. Using all of the track, once again. And maybe some bits he shouldn't be. But it doesn't matter. Tailing another car. Oh, that was always going to be very close. Difficult section of the track to go side by side through. Oh my goodness. An even trickier section of the track to go side by side through. And I don't blame the number 1 car at all for backing off and saying, whoa, you know what, guys? I'm going to let you all go ahead of me, and I'm going to go my own way, as Fleetwood Mac once said. In essence, he's straight back into the action. Anytime you try and hold back, because you can't hold back for too long because you're costing yourself valuable time to get fast laps in. But at the same time, you're trying to hold back just to get some space on this track. If you're that faster, you gain traffic, you catch up to traffic almost in the blink of an eye. It's almost like you didn't do anything. So qualifying is an art form all of itself, and it's one that's very difficult. And it's one where only the fastest and the guys who dare the most will win. Very much to the SAS motto, who dares wins. Who slices through traffic most wins. I don't think that was quite as catchy a slogan for the Special Air Service. The number 1 continues trucking on. So overall, it's looked like a very solid session. Right to the number 1 car. His car's spinning in front of him. And in fact, he is now one of the cars that's spinning. Recovers it quickly, though. That in itself can be vital, remember. But generally, that rhythm has been so consistent and so solid. And I guess the purposes of the session, as you've seen, is where are those limits? Where do you turn in? And incidentally, that barrier he just clipped, the next car that came through, flew straight over the barriers. So it was almost like how to go one better than that. Where are those boundaries? Where do you turn in each time? Where is your mark? That's another thing where these guys are so far away from their cars. Where are the brake markers? Where are the turn-in points? You just have to see it from up top. It's almost like drawing a pattern, sketching something out on a tablet. That's the way you got to treat driving through here. Good racecraft there from the green car to let him through smoothly. And that is the end of the session. The buzzer is gone. That is it. Rice and company are complete, and they're done. And a good solid session. But Rice will have been frustrated with a few of those incidents there. Hopefully that will not have compromised his laps too much. I say too much. Hopefully we'll not have done too much damage to his qualifying ambitions. As we come up to the final group.
10 finished. Practice 6. Open. Round 4 is over.
We're coming up now to the final round, the final group of open class runners. And the final group of guys looking to get into that LMP2 class. And they can just qualify up.
Drivers and marshals.
This is where things get so close. And indeed, I think up on the rostrum, I think I've seen the guy that we were talking about earlier, so our 12-year-old competing. He actually needs a box to stand on, which I think is brilliant. That's fantastic. Lewis Parker. Get ready to compete, quite literally, with the big boys around him. So we're now moving into round 7 of qualifying, or heat 7 of qualifying.
Final practice round today for heat 6.
Now this will be it.
Heat. All started behind the loop, fantastic. Driving slowly to the line because the track's being nursed back into line.
And the track is being repaired as we speak. It's taken enough of a beating today. I'll tell you what. As I say, this is only qualifying as well. So it's taken enough of a battering. So in this heat, the cars to watch, number 5, on your screens if you're watching online, is the car furthest right, the extreme right there on the control line. The white, orange and purple car, very distinctive, of James Stewart. He was fastest in the first session, first round of qualifying. Second was Mark Payne in the number 3. That's the green and white car in the sort of middle of that lineup. Fourth in from left. Third is number 8, or was Neil Diver.
Round 4 will start in 30 seconds.
The white and purple car of Neil Diver was third.
3, 8, 2, 10, 1, 4, 7, 9, 6.
So they just run through the starting order as they get ready to let them loose. Qualifying. Lewis Parker.
10 seconds.
We're talking about number 10, that red and black car in the centre of the lineup there. Here we go. So watch out for that number 5 on the extreme right, James Stewart. Here we go. Cut them loose.
5, 3, 8, 2, 10, 1, 4, 7, 9, 6.
And they're down and away. This will be a final group of guys from the open class. It'll be their final session of qualifying. The next time these guys are back on track will be tomorrow for the first round of the contest in earnest. So this will be their last chance for any track action today. Their last chance to suss out where the speed is. If there's anything they can fiddle on the car. And if they're happy with it, then hey, they can retire to bed contented. But if I know these competitors as I do, they are perfectionists. And with perfection almost impossible, there will always be something not quite to their standards. So they'll be going to bed and going back to the bunkers to work on setup tweaks, little adjustments. As we watch Stewart's car on the stream, on the camera. White, orange and purple car. Very distinct central section. And actually, one of the marshals there, you just saw it in the shot there, actually dropped a rag on the track. Not a red rag to a ball, not quite, but luckily not enough to impede anyone's progress, and it was retrieved safely. So all good. So once again, Marshall sprinting back across the track. Stewart comes through, clears a slower car that just had an incident in front of them. And that rhythm's so important. It's a hard one to attain, but when you see an RC racing driver get that sort of pattern together and string consistent laps together. It's a real art form, to be honest. It's like poetry in motion, because you just know how easy it is to fall away and how easy it is for one little mistake to mess it up. It's like that film recently, The Walk, I believe it was, about the tightrope walk between two skyscrapers. It's kind of the line you're treading here, the thin line you're treading here. Oof. And how disastrous the consequences would be if that line is crossed, as the number 6, that was Gary Dyson, who I think has steering damage. He's down here in the penalty box area at this end of the track. We'll see Stewart come through here in a minute on the cameras. The car has just been retrieved, actually, off to the side, and more cars flying through there. They're going to join him, I think. That was the number 3 of Mark Payne, who was second fastest in the first session. As our live stream comes back in on Stewart. For those of you watching in the arena, Stewart's car's coming through the first third of the circuit now, coming into the middle section now. And for us watching on the stream, there he is, right in the centre of your shot. All of this action being brought to you in sound and vision, exclusively on RC Racing TV. The Reedy 112th Race of Champions being presented and powered by Reedy, and brought to you by Protoform Race Bodies, Zen Racing, and the British Radio Car Association. Very pleased to be associated with for this competition. Putting on a great contest so far, as I believe we've just hit halfway in this session. Remember, clock counting down. This will be these guys' last track action of the day, their last attempt to get something on the board, their last attempt to qualify and secure a spot in the LMP2 division in that elusive top 30. And I'll tell you what, stunt driving like that is not going to do the trick, although it does look very stylish. That was Lewis Parker, who was the latest to go for a tumble and a hurdle over the penalty box wall right there. You see it as it comes through shot briefly on the stream. Stewart, meanwhile, is cruising on, not wanting to put a commentary curse on him, of course. This has been very, very smooth running. Ooh, especially with cars around him making mistakes. The ultimate definition of keeping one's head when everyone else is losing theirs. It's been consistent, it's been solid, more importantly, it's been fast. You string all 3 of those together, you're going to be very hard to beat in qualifying, let alone tournament play itself. And we get into first of tomorrow's 10 rounds across Saturday and Sunday. 6-minute races each, points awarded in each one. The least number of points at the end of the weekend wins. You can afford 3 drop scores, and after that, you're on your own, sunshine. Stewart continues to roll through. This is very smooth. This is very elegant. This is very good stuff. Knowing exactly where the apexes are on the track. Knowing exactly what line he's comfortable with. That looks like a car that is very much set up to his liking and he's very comfortable with. And it's almost at the point now where, you'll probably disagree with me, there's always something that race drivers want to change on their cars. But just watching it up here, excuse me, it just looks to me like the car is set just so. And even if there was maybe more speed to get out of that car, you almost don't want to go looking for it, because you don't want to upset such a perfect balance, which has this thing flowing so well. I don't think it's even touched the wall for about 6 or 7 laps, or maybe the entire session. It's hard to tell. But certainly, this car, unlike Lewis Parker, has gone for another Burton across the penalty box area. Getting a chance to rejoin, or is it the 10 car giving up the ghost? Maybe it needs to be refired. It's down here in the penalty box area, just out of shot. You'll see it maybe briefly as number 5 comes through. My commentary curse happened again, didn't it? There was me saying he hadn't touched as much of a wall through the session. And even then, it wasn't too much of a mistake. Hopefully not too much, and he'd already logged quite a few strong laps. But hopefully that wouldn't have disrupted things too badly, because we are getting towards the close of this session, and it looks like Parker's session is done early. That's a real shame. But up on the main scoreboards, that'll be it. That'll be all she wrote for this session. That'll be all she wrote for these drivers in their qualifying. That'll be it for your open class runners. They'll all be done. We'll give you an update on the scores as we get them. We're not getting live timing up in the crow's nest, but I can nip down to the pits and get the times when they come in. But for now, it's back over to James Parry.
Hello. I have an update on timing. There are a few technical glitches. Obviously, it's very dangerous to mess with the timing system whilst we are mid-race. So they're going to be tweaking some knobs, smacking things with hammers and fiddling with other things. And hopefully by tomorrow we'll have race timing. Watch this space. We are RC Racing TV. We're at the Centre MK Shopping Centre in Milton Keynes. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for watching us. Whether you're just watching us or watching us and taking part in the YouTube chat, hello to you all. We still have quite a few people in the chat. Janscale Modelling, Rick Howard. I'm not very good with pronunciations. That's a known thing about me, but I'll give it a go anyway. Hember Tony Welderek. It's as good as it's going to get, people. Matt Hunter, Peaks ZA. To all of you, you're having a good old chat. If you want to know what they're chatting about, head over to the chat and see for yourself. We're here covering the Reedy 1/12 Race of Champions. Or Race of Champions, I should say. Day one. We have 17 minutes to go before the end of the day. We're here thank you to Reedy, Protoform, Zen Racing, the aggregation of marginal gains being Zen Racing's strapline. I remember that from last year. And thank you to the BRCA, get my words out, BRCA, the governing body, that's the British Remote Control Car Association. They are the, I would say, the governing body behind this race. They make the rules. You don't mess with them. So there's a few track repairs going on at the moment. A few people picking up bits of fluff and stuff off the corner of the track. I can see a lady with eagle eyes looking for any foreign objects that may hinder the cars as they make their way around the track. Oh, she's found another one.
Come on, car 7. Up here, car 7. Come on. There's a good boy.
She has her fast running shoes on, she's just showed me, so I have to be careful how cheeky I am, otherwise there'll be no getting away from her if I need to make a leg for it. So the cars are lining up. Why are they lining up on the grid this time? Have I missed something whilst I've been away?
What you've got to remember is...
the top Reedy Invitationals line up on grid slots.
Car 1.
Why is that? Do you know?
Car 1.
No. No one knows. Oh, good. I was on camera. I wish you'd stop putting me on camera without telling me I'm on camera, Mr. Cameraman Paul Bateman.
4 tomorrow, they're rotating by 1 a heat, so you'll be moving backwards down the heat. That's in mind for tomorrow.
I will ask our commentator to make his way around to self-named Crow's Nest. You may have to tell some people to come off the rostrum, because when people walk on the rostrum, well, I say not the rostrum, but our Crow's Nest, it makes the camera shake. But anyway, without further delay, no, there is a delay, as he makes his way up the steps, Adam Johnson.
And we're back here in the Reedy 1/12 Race of Champions, and this is where it gets very serious, because this is the first of the 3 invitational classes. This is your top Reedy category. As you can see by the fact that they grid started this time. For the Reedy Invitational class, they start in grid slots, as they will in the races tomorrow, starting at 9 AM. The live coverage starting on RC Racing TV. We're here, we're ready. You're not going to miss a single moment of the action, because why would anyone want to? As they come sweeping round. Now the grid, I believe, has been reshuffled a little bit for this heat as they came through, but I will still check you the results from the first heat, from the first round of qualifying, I should say. This is heat 8. There's a little bit of contact in the second sector, or the third sector, I should say. So, results from this heat first time round. Are we really surprised that David Spashett was the fastest? No. I could tell on my own eyeballs. I didn't need a timing screen to verify that for me, but the timing results have done exactly that. And he was in the silver car. The number 3 car coming through the final few corners now, up onto the main straight, into the first turns. I'm giving a running commentary for you because it is hard to keep up with Spashett's car. There it is, right in the centre of shot. the silver bullet, David Spashit. And this is a man who, I'm not joking you, I'm trying to, the list of stuff this man's won, the list of championships this man's won. Well, he's not going to win any stunt driving contest anytime soon, or parallel parking contest, but hey, this is a man who won championships from 1994 on through 2006. So, 10 years since a major trophy, but it's not like he's had time. It's not like he has needed to squeeze them out. He's probably run out of room in his trophy cabinet a long time ago. Maybe that's why he stopped with his winning success. He literally ran out of room in his house to put them. So, Spashit. Oh my goodness, there are cars flying literally everywhere in this final sector. They are all going everywhere. It's the carpet that has come up. I was just about to say, surely not all of those guys could have made a mistake all at once. The heat has been stopped. Understandably so. You see there on the shot, the carpet has actually come up in the entry into that corner. Fast work by the marshals there, and there were cars literally flying all over the place there. It's very close. So let's see how this will be repaired. We're going to have a brief pause then. See how this one's repaired. Just going to nip down to track level, see if I can see what's going on. People crowding around rather quickly, understandably, to see what has happened. Maybe for a spectacular moment of telly, but obviously not in the interest of any of the competitors to see their cars flying so spectacularly.
For a screw in your chassis.
And blocks of wood, hair dryers coming out. It's accurate. Bit of hard graft, hard labour. There's no replacement for it sometimes. This is exactly what you need. In fact, our own equipment is being used to help out now. Our own extension leads from cameras. RC Racing TV does come in useful for something sometimes. Some extension cables plug in to dry the track. Carpet, or actually bring it in, I should say. Warm it down. Stick it back into place. That was an amazing moment though, seeing all those cars suddenly flying there. So we're just having a brief stoppage here in Heat 8, round 4 of practice. This is the second round of qualifying. And the coverage brought to you on RC Racing TV and in the arena of the British Radio Car Association. So along with our sponsors, Reedy, Protoform, and Zen Racing, and Carpet Laying 101. What you're getting is impromptu demonstration of how to do exactly that. If you're a RC Racing Club owner, here you go. This is how you do it. This is how you make the repairs mid-race. Cars stopped out on track, frozen in their positions. They've come to a halt. Hopefully the cars that were involved in those incidents there and were caught by the snagging track, hopefully they are not permanently damaged and their session won't be too badly affected. Obviously everyone will now have to sort of get their rhythm back. Unlike me, they did have some in the first place, but they will now have to get it back after a lengthy pause. And James, what's the situation?
Well, I've tried to be helpful and give them one of our extension cables from a camera we weren't using because it's actually quite dark in here in camera terms, and the shot was looking terrible, but I've realised that he's running a high wattage heat gun through it, so at any point we could literally have a a power outage. So I hope he doesn't use it for too long.
Encouraging to hear.
Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, if we do go dead all of a sudden, we will be back when we've rebooted everything, but fingers crossed. It's only an extension off an extension off an extension off an extension going to a 1400 watt heater, so it'll be fine.
What's the worst that could happen?
Exactly.
Seriously. So, we are live on RC Racing TV, giving you all the coverage of the Reedy 112th Race of Champions. So right now there's not much actual racing going on, but the crew have cleared the track. I think marshals are also checking over the rest of the track, checking over the cars. Now, I think we should be okay. Cross your fingers, I think nothing blew up. There we go. And that signal means we are good to go. We're back underway. In Heat 8, qualifying round 2. We resume and we are going for a full restart here back into their grid slots. So I'm going to do this properly. And I wonder if I don't know if this will restart the timer as to where it was. No, it looks like the timer has been fully reset. So it looks like we are starting from scratch in this session. Which is only fair, really. Looks like all the cards present are correct. Looks like they're all good, which is useful. We didn't want to see guys
to go, drivers, you
affected.
4 minutes.
And 4 minutes for a pause. I can just see, actually, there are 6 cars out there, and I think 1 or 2 of them did take some damage in those instances with the carpet gate down here in the first 2 corners. In fact, that wasn't 4 minutes at all. Ah, there we go, that was clarified. It's actually on for 4 minutes now. The session has been shortened then to accommodate that stoppage. We are back underway and back up to full speed and back up to full shunting almost immediately. I think everyone paused and held their breath for a second there. We've had some shunts at the final hairpin. Wondering if that was another issue with the carpet, but it was not. We keep going. And David Spashit, once again, looking to set the pace. And already swarming up behind some more cars. The speed of the man has not gone anywhere. This is one of the finest. This is a guy who deserves to be mentioned in the same breath as your Michael Salvans and your Martin Hoodies, the very, very top aces of the RC racing discipline. And if we're going to be here out in front of the public to present RC racing in its finest, then which better guy to have than the likes of David Spashit? There are other guys in this heat, of course. The other guy in this heat, or in the 8th group, included Juho Leivinen. Some more cars go flying down there. I think there's going to be a lot of anxiety down in that corner section where Spash is coming through now. And it's coming up again. It has come up again on the corner. It has come up once more. We've got a carpet issue again. That split has come up. We need to bring this one to a stop, fellas, and I think we have. Yes, we have. There we go. Just to smash it. Decided, nah, it's not that bad. Oh, yes, it is. Once again, that carpet proving a problem child. Now, this is a bit of an issue. Are we going to have to risk blowing a fuse on our extension again? I think we may have to. But this is a unique problem. This is a very unique issue. The problem is now I can see race staff heading towards that section with gaffer tape. Sometimes it's the only way to fix these things.
Guys, if you don't mind, we'll call your heat today and get it done for 9 and 10 as soon as we can.
And I believe the word that's been given over from the race directors is that this heat may well be being called as it is to stick to run time. Yes, I can see cars heading back to the pits now. So I think
The race is suspended.
I think the heat is being called official. Called as it is.
Big men's coming to look.
All of the big guns. Everyone's coming out here to look at the repairs now. It's good old-fashioned gaffer tape that's being employed now to fix it. Sometimes that's the only thing that will do. I'm convinced gaffer tape can fix pretty much anything.
No, not gaffer.
But not even that.
No,
not even gaffer tape. It's doing the trick here. And this is really becoming a bit of a conundrum for these guys here. This is a little bit strange. And they are actually taping. They're putting 2 layers of tape on it. Oh, do you want to swing the camera onto that? I want the viewers to understand what I'm trying to show you here. There it is. There is the tape repair going on. It's advanced stuff, folks. Multiple layers of duct tape. This is what it's going to take to finish this session today. A session so intense, it's literally destroying the track. It's very much reminiscent of the 2010 Daytona 500, where they had a red flag during the middle of that race for track surface needing to be filled. They've got duct tape underneath. No, the Daytona 500 didn't fix that. The Daytona International Speedway didn't fix their surface with duct tape, although it probably would have made the red flag about 3 hours shorter. So, let me just have a quick look at that. I feel like the health and safety worker signing off a bit of construction work. That'll do the job. And I think it's been taped down from the back side, if you will. The leading edge is not sticking up. It's sort of ramping over, if you will. So I think that'll do the job, James. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. I'm just wondering how long we can talk about and cover on duct tape repairs. This is the first for me in 3 years. I think you were right with duct tape gate. Was it duct tape gate? Gaffer tape? Gaffer gate?
Carpet gate.
Carpet gate. Carpet gate. You're trying to turn yourself off. There you go. He's off. The strange thing is it's only the far side that's actually taped down. The front side is technically still loose. But
yeah, that is interesting. I wonder if that's to save time out here.
Well, they won't catch it, that's for sure. But yeah, they won't catch it. But they're going to fly off the. Are they going to fly off the closer edge?
They shouldn't do it. It should be flat enough. It should be okay in that
respect. Soon find out.
Anyway.
How long now? Maybe 3.5 minutes? Just wait for the race director to confirm how long the final part of this race will be allocated. Hey? We've moved on. No, because that... No, it's still the top guys. Hagberg's up there. Jeffries. And they're lining up again. Who knows? This whole carpet gate thing's throwing me, if I'm honest with you. I feel all 6s and 7s about it now.
I think it's Mike London. Race control, okay.
So as we get ready then, Heat 9. Qualifying round 2 is underway. Previous one curtailed after the carpet woes. This one, hopefully, cross your fingers. This one will go the distance. And the car to watch in this one is, well, it was the penultimate one in the queue. It's now that white car right in the middle of his shot. It's the number 7 of Mark Stiles, who was up here talking to us earlier. I've just been taken out there in somewhat of a Stiles clash. And another one there. Wisely letting some traffic through, letting them go. Fast lap times never bothered him anyway. Sorry, that was bad, even by my standards. Anyway, in all seriousness, Stiles was the fastest in this heat in the first round of qualifying. He'll be looking to back this one up and back up the words that he said to us earlier on the live stream and up here in the Crow's Nest. He told us the exact methods and best practices to achieve success here at such a tournament, especially with such a consistently high pressure round of heats that'll be starting tomorrow at 9 AM. And so far, he's doing everything he needs to do. So we can't wedge under the barrier in the late part of the circuit. But
it's lost something.
Continues on. Stiles still going very strong. The finishing order in the first heat was Alex Laurent second, Ollie Jeffries third in the number 4, Daniel Sieber fourth in number 3, and Matthew White fifth in the number 1. We actually have some impromptu repairs being carried out on our Crow's Nest. It's coming in use, ladies and gentlemen. It's coming in very useful. Our Crow's Nest has become briefly an extension of the pit road. So this will be interesting. It's the number 3 of Daniel Sieber. As you can see, right beneath us, is being repaired. So some adjustments being made quickly. The body shell going back on. The cable ties, or the body clip ties going in. The clips going in. And that car hopefully should make it back on track to log some laps before the end of the session, with any luck. When time is ticking away. Meanwhile, Mark Stiles continues on his merry way with some seriously strong performances so far. His first round was almost impervious, and in this second round so far he has been equally as strong. Let's have a look at the previous round's results. Well, Peter Craig won the second round of Heat 6. That was back in the open class. Remember, this is the Reedy Invitational class. Stiles continues on. Some smooth running there. Still repairs continuing for Sieber's car. I would say beneath us, right basically where we are. So as that happens right in front of us, Mark Stiles continues on. A little bit of clip of the inside barrier there. It's not what he needed. 2 cars in front. Good reflexes to avoid spinning cars.
5, 7, 6, 2, 1, 3. Leader on lap 15.
And so far, the order is actually Ollie Jeffries leading ahead of Alexander Hagberg, who did not start the first round of qualifying. That explains why he was at the bottom end of the timesheet, somewhere that he's very rarely, if ever, in RC racing. So Hagberg now really doing some damage now in the number 5. Look out for his number 5 car, white and green, of which confusingly there's 2 almost identically the same in this heat. I think that's the one that's just gone through the final corners now. Coming up into the first few corners. I think it's that one on the online stream. It's right in the center of his shot pretty much. Let's see as they come through. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I think so. Almost 85% certain. That was a number 5 on the side of his car. Hagberg being hassled though all the way. The yellow and white car in there as well. Is that the number 4 of Ollie Jeffries, I wonder? Whoa. Slight issue with traffic there, not hampering them too much. I think that was the number 7 of... No, it can't have been the number 7 of Mark Stiles. What am I on about? Number recognition, yeah. Something that becomes surprisingly difficult when the cars are traveling a scale 700 miles an hour. Hagberg with a little bit of a war grind there as well. It's like he was playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Good for the combo bonus, not so good for his lap time, and neither will that. In fact, sorry, that was not Hagberg, that was the other green and white car in this race. Too much action to keep up for. What on earth are we going to be like tomorrow when the racing gets underway in earnest? But luckily, touching wood here, gaffer tape or not, mock it at your peril. That repair to the carpet down here in Sector 3 appears to be holding so far. There it is, comes across there. There it is. You see that distinctive strip across the track. Appears to be holding for now. Very good effort. Very good stuff. For 1400 watt heat gun. Didn't do the job. Humble gaffer tape will. So Hagberg continues on. Oh, a bit of contact at the first corner. Car was half spun in his way. No real way he could avoid it. Now Ollie Jeffries is another man to watch in there. Oh, and some more contact. Hagberg flips up and over. And that is Ollie Jeffries in the yellow and white car that was there with him. And thanked politely by the race director there. Jeffries very kindly slows up, lets Hagberg have track position over him again. And the race continues on. This is a mini duel in itself. These two are exchanging fast laps and battling out like it's the final lap of the last round of the competition. It's incredible stuff. Sizing each other up. A little bit of racecraft going on here. Look at this. This is very fascinating as traffic gets out of their way rapidly. Not that I blame them at all. And these two are almost on a lap of their own, having a play, warming each other up. It's like watching sparring. It's like watching Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed have that private sparring match at the end of Rocky 3. But it's going to have to come to an end for now. And they'll have to renew hostilities tomorrow, because that is the end of the session. So we retreat back to the bunkers, and we'll have one more heat of qualifying to go. One more heat of qualifying to go. Here in the Reedy 112th Race of Champions in Centre MK. It's a very public arena. Our coverage on RC Racing TV, our exclusive live coverage, presented by Reedy, Protoform Race Bodies, Zen Racing, the aggregation of marginal gains, and BRCA, the British Radio Car Association. As the final group of cars
is now on pole. Therefore 5 is second, 6 is third.
Heading out on track now. So then, this will be your final group. They're ready and they're geared to go. So, the car to watch here will be the car on row 5. As you see there on those signs on the far back, they'll be in the very distance. They're just along the edge of the start-finish straight. You'll see them on the stream there. They are rearranged. They've reshuffled the lineups here because they have slightly less cars in each heat here. So row 5, you see the number 1 there. That is Toto Ebukuro or should be Toto Bakuro's car. Either way. I'm just wondering if it actually is, you know, because I seem to remember his car being pink and yellow in the first heat. In fact, there is Ebakuro's car. No, sorry, the number 6. My apologies. We are looking at Andy Murray now in the number 5. Okay. Number 6 is Ebakuro, just behind him. There he is. There we go. So the pink and yellow car just behind was your first heat winner. Marcus Mobers in the number 1. So you've also got to watch. I see it's based on car number now. There you go. As Ebakuro takes off straight away. Looking to hound. That'll be the number. Well, straight away, hops into a lead almost immediately. Not that this is a heads-up race, but leads the metaphorical train. Darting back and forth there. That was very close. That might be the number 7 of Chris Kurzweil who's giving him chase. Yes, it is. That's Chris Kurzweil who's giving chase. Big shunt on the start-finish straight. But a great pursuit. Ebakuro and Kurzweil. 2 of the fastest guys in the first session. Kurzweil 5th fastest in the first round of qualifying. Definitely looking for improvement. I'll tell you what, if his improvement is trying to follow Ebakuro or even get past him by fair means or foul, then it's not a bad way to do things. Follow the fastest guy, see if you can figure out what's going on. And I think Marcus Mober, the 3rd car in that line, the yellow, red and black checkered car, I think he's trying to do exactly the same thing. Now, Mobers was the 2nd fastest in that first session. A 3-time European champion. It's a guy with a pedigree to match. But Ebakuro blindsided the field in the first session, and Mobers has actually blindsided Kurzweil out of the final corner there. A little bit close there. So Ebakuro, and I think Mobers has been penalised to drive through there. It's a shame. Didn't look intentional, but them's the brakes. They converged on the racing line. And there goes Mobers into the drive-through bay. Takes his penalty and back out again. That may actually work to his advantage in some way, because if he has time to string together 5 laps, he's in a little bit of empty track there. Not much, but just enough maybe to get some good laps on the board. Meanwhile, Ebakuro is coming through the final complex of hairpins now and into the very final hairpin. There he is, going down the front straight now. It's turns 1, 2. If you're watching on the stream, he is the car just in front of the one we're tracking right now. He is so fast, our cameraman can barely keep up with him. This is unbelievable. There he is. There you go. No one's quite fast enough for our own Paul Bateman. If you're watching around the track as well, that pink and yellow blur you see going around the track is Toto Bakuro's car. And boy, this one has been laying down some statements of intent out here. I do wonder whether we're looking at a potential Reedy 112th champion, Race of Champions winner. But to be honest, we're looking at a huge selection of cars that could take that honour, could take that prize. And the likes of Mark Stiles and David and others could really rather disagree with that, I'd say. Gio Laven and others. But Ebakuro is seriously putting in some great lap times. His average lap in the first round of qualifying was 12.78 seconds, with a best lap of 12.12. Considering the fastest of the open class runners were in the average 13-second bracket, that is quite sensational and will not have helped. Getting caught up in a little bit of lap traffic. I think that's the number 5 of Andy Murray, who's having some excursions of his own now. The inevitable tennis jokes are being left and ignored because, trust me, they're just terrible. Ebakuro continues his march. You can just watch from the body language of his car, the man driving it, you can just tell that is a car that is very much in tune with driver and setup. That is a car that is looking good and will hit the ground running early tomorrow. That is unless they decide there is even more speed in this machine, which is either a worrying prospect for the competition or for themselves, because there is such a thing of, it's almost like an artist knowing when to finish a painting. If you keep going and going and adjusting, you sort of lose that perfect setup again. It's like when a recording artist or a musician takes 50 takes to record one track, and they'll never admit that take 2 was the best, because they don't want to admit that they ended up doing another 48 takes for it to come to nothing. But Ebakuro continues on. I really struggle to believe what else they can change on this car to make it much quicker, because it is looking phenomenal right now. It's looking good. Marcus Mober's drive-through penalty will not have helped. He's just coming through on the front straight now. We have a car stopped in the pit lane as well. That's the number 2 of Scott Booth. His qualifying is done early. That'll be frustrating, but hopefully it shouldn't affect his seeding. Remember, they'll be jumbled up tomorrow as they go through each heat. So everything will be affected as they go on. There'll be chances for drivers to move up. Chances for guys, it will almost be like snakes and ladders as they go through the heats tomorrow. And Ebukuro is aiming to stay right at the top of the ladder and not fall down a single rung as they keep on going. I think the session is not far off being done either. So not much further for Ebukuro to do. Yes, we're coming into the final 30 seconds of the session now. Final 30 seconds of race action for today, in fact. So if you've got anything left in the tank for these guys out on track, now's the time, because the next time you're going to be hitting the track, it's going to be to go racing in the Reedy 112th Race of Champions. As a bit of dashing around the track there from Mark Stiles, who's now on marshalling duty. The car that he was trying to recover had already gone when he got there, so he ended up doing somewhat of a lap of the track, running around. And the number 4 car is in a bit of trouble in the second half of the track. But Ebukuro goes through completely undaunted. It's like it wasn't even there.
Finished.
And there it is.
Finished.
That is it. The end of qualifying
Finished.
for the 112th Reedy Race of Champions. That's it. All over for the day. The Friday session is complete. And the next time you see these race cars on track will be the first round proper of the 112th Reedy Race of Champions competition. We're going to see you tomorrow from 9 AM live on RC Racing TV and here over the PA system in the Centre MK. We'll be back here at this venue with our coverage presented by Reedy, Protoform Race Bodies, Zen Racing and the British Radio Car Association. I've been Adam Johnson, along with Paul Bateman, James Parry and the RC Racing TV team. We'll see you tomorrow. It's about to get very interesting.